Rangers in the UEFA Champions League qualifiers.
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome to European Sports Round with me, Kenny McIntyre. We're live from Ibrox as Rangers continue their quest to reach the Champions League. Tonight they face Czech side Viktoria Plzeň, and the big question is, how will they respond to Saturday's disappointment at Fir Park and the very strong comments that followed from the manager Russell Martin? You will find out right here on BBC Radio Scotland. It's a decent night here in the south side of Glasgow. It's starting to fill up nicely here at Ibrox Park. No wind, perfect conditions. Let's hope for a really decent European night here this evening. Alongside me on the gantry are Neil McCann, Derek Ferguson and our match commentator Alistair Lamont. Good evening to you, Al. You can kick us off with the very interesting team news.
I can, Kenny. I'm going to dispute the fact that there's no wind with you, first of all, though. And Derek Ferguson was even more bemused than I was there. I mean, it's still blowing a bit of a hoolie at times, and I think probably more so out in the pitch, even more so in the gantry. But anyway, no, you're right. The team news is more important, and it is fairly surprising in some regards. There's no James Tavernier in the starting 11. There is no Nico Raskan, nor Kieran Dowell, nor Danilo. Those are the four players who are omitted from the Rangers starting 11 who did start that draw against Motherwell at the weekend. Were those the players Russell Martin was referring to in his post-match comments? Well, it's reasonable to infer that at least some of them were. In come Jefte, Lyle Cameron, new signing Oliver Antman goes straight in, having only signed yesterday from Go Ahead Eagles, but he's straight in on the right wing. And Cyril Dessers gets his first start of the season, having come on in all three thus far. So Rangers starting 11 is Jack Butland in goal. Max Aarons then moves to right back, his more natural position, having filled in effectively at left back thus far, but not too convincingly. I think most people would agree. But he goes across to right back in place of Tavernier tonight. Jefte is in at left back, and the two centre backs continue to be Nasser Giga and John Suter. In the midfield then it's Joe Rothwell in that sitting role with Mohamed Diamonde, and then Lyle Cameron making his first start, having made his debut against Motherwell as a substitute and earning some praise from Russell Martin for his endeavours when he came on. And then up front, Oliver Antman on the right hand side, JD Gassama, who's already got 2 goals of course in Europe against Panathinaikos in each of the legs, and Cyril Dessers is the man who is leading the line. I'll give you the visitors lineup before I look at the substitutes, mainly because I don't have the substitutes to hand. I'm just trying to get it up on my phone as we speak. But anyway, I'll give you the Viktoria Plzeň 11, because they made 3 changes from their game against Servette. That was the second leg against Servette. They had their league game postponed at the weekend to aid them in their preparation for this one. So that was the last outing. 3 changes. It's Memic, Ladra and Panos coming in for Havel, and then the other 2 players who go out are unavailable. Zilikovic, because he's suspended, having been sent off in that last game, and Schultz, because he is moving to Lyon in a 7.5 million euro transfer. He's effectively been their best player for at least the last season or so. We saw him against Hearts last year, very impressive, and he is not available against Rangers, and that has to be good news for the home side. So they go with Florian Wiegele in goal, the Austrian. Back 3 of Samson Due, Svetozar, Markovic, Václav Jemelka. That's the back 3. The wing backs are Amar Memic and Karel Spasil. In the midfield it is Lukas Cherv, and then you've got Thomas Ladra and Jiri Panos, the 17-year-old, ahead of Cherv. And up front it's Rafiu Durasinmi, a Nigerian striker, alongside the very experienced veteran Mate Vidra, the Czech Republic striker, who continues to lead the line for the Czechs. Now, come back to those substitutes for Rangers. Bayrami, Baron, Cortez, Curtis, Dowell, Fernandez, Gentles, Kelly, Danilo, Raskan, Rice and Tavernier. The French referee, again vastly experienced, Clément Turpin. All the officials from France this evening.
Thank you to Al Lamont. The Pilsen players just coming out for their warm-up here. Kick-off is 7:45. So good evening to you, Neil. Good evening to you, Derek. Some really interesting team news. Neil, first of all, your reaction to that?
Well, I'm pleased that Cyril Dessers is back in the side. I know Danilo's had a few chances now ahead of Cyril, but I do believe that Cyril makes Rangers a better side. For me, he's more of a goal threat. I think he's all-round game, going in behind. I know his link-up play might not have the soft touch that maybe Danilo offers, but I think his overall threat is greater, Kenny, so I'm pleased that he's on his side. I'm very surprised that Nico Raskin is omitted from that starting 11, and I'm also surprised that Tavernier's out of that starting 11 as well. I can understand that Max Aarons has been brought to the club to be a right back, but and he's been operating out in that left. Maybe he just wanted a wee bit of a natural left sider, which I think's been missing. And I know Russell's been playing a certain way about fullbacks being inverted and stuff, and Max Aarons has looked pretty uncomfortable in doing that, in my opinion. But to leave out James Tavernier is a big call, particularly after the weekend's post-match press conference comments. So yeah, couple of surprises in there, Kenny, but the most important thing for me is that Rangers do not take this game lightly. I think maybe a wee bit of the feeling, I don't know if Derek agrees, around the place that I've been getting, is that Panathinaikos was a bigger team and it was a harder game, and it might be true, and almost like, right, we dealt with Panathinaikos and we should deal with Pilsen and go through it next. I don't think it's going to be as easy as that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It's a stiff challenge tonight, Derek, no doubt at all about that. We'll get to the comments from the manager. I sat down with him yesterday to find out how he's feeling about things now. But your reaction to the team news? For me, Raskin, it's a huge call to leave him out.
Well, that's the one I was going to come straight to, because obviously Neely knows him a bit better than me. I can only tell you what I think from being a spectator and watching him. I just think he's a top player. There's a lot to like about him, and what you get sometimes with top players, Kenny, is and the manager spoke about it, he spoke about ego. I played with probably arguably one of the best Rangers players ever in Ian Durrant. Ian Durrant always had something to say, you know, in the dressing room, where it was to us as players or the opposition. So that comes with the territory. So sometimes you've got to, this is how you become a manager, to manage that, manage the player, manage his expectations. So he's still, for me, I think he's Rangers' best player, and for him to be on the bench tonight, big surprise. Also with Tav, you could argue it's been coming, but again, Aaron's going to, or Aaron's, whatever you want to call him, going to right back. He's not been particularly impressive so far. I think he's struggled a little bit. It does take a bit of time, as we know, when you come to a club like Rangers. So I thought he might have stuck with the captain. So again, another massive call. Dessers, I think we've lacked a little bit of running power, a little bit of physicality up top. So he's certainly going to bring that. Nice to see young Cameron getting his opportunity. He probably didn't expect it. But the one thing I will say, I like that Antman is going straight in there. Good players, sometimes you don't need to break them in gently. Good players can adjust, and I think he'll enjoy this game tonight, because it is a big game. There is a bit of expectation. I think that expectation is not as big as what I think. What I'm trying to say, the Rangers fans coming around here tonight, a little bit of nerves, they're a little bit unsure, and I would be thinking some of the players are feeling a little bit unsure about themselves as well.
Well, Joe, when I was in yesterday, we were just about to hear from the manager. I was in yesterday at the training ground, and I spoke with Lyle Cameron, terrific young lad, I have to say. I spoke to Tony Docherty about him this morning, and I think some players, when they sign that pre-contract, can affect their form. He was terrific for Dundee in the run-in last season, so he gets his chance tonight. So let's hear from Russell Martin. As I say, I sat down with him yesterday to find out how he's feeling. He, of course, on Saturday night, Derek was at the game, he questioned the players' bravery, the mentality, their character. So I found out how he was feeling and what reaction he had got from his players.
I wasn't overly emotional, and if people think it was an emotional reaction, it really wasn't. I'd said exactly the same to the players, and I think my job is to be really honest at this football club. I think so. Well, it's how I live my life, how I choose to, and I'm not going to approach my job in any different way. I'm not here to be a politician, play games. And I think if I had come out and said, there's stuff we need to work on, we played okay, I think you open yourself up both ways. So I'd rather be honest and feel more comfortable with that. And but But I didn't say anything that I hadn't said to the players in the dressing room. So I said that to the guys. This is about being really honest with you and really honest with the supporters. I expect us not to be perfect. There's going to be some problems. There's a lot of change at the club. We're trying to implement something very different to what's been done before with this group of players. There's been new additions. So we're trying to manage change and develop whilst trying to win. But the fundamentals, however we play, however you play, whatever we do, whether it's the first minute or the last, to run and fight for everything is like non-negotiable completely, especially at this football club. So, and I think if the players know us by now, which hopefully they're starting to really get a feel for us as a coaching staff and me, then I think they know it comes from a place of love and trying to help them and a place of care and want them to be better and to do better. So I'm really open with them in the same way I accept really open and honest conversation from them when they're not happy with something. So I think once people who know me and know where it comes from, especially previous players that I've managed, that a few messaged me after the game about that, because they know me, they understand where it comes from. So I might get the players to pick up the phone to a few of them and get them to understand. But no, honestly, it's I think I have to be honest with everyone and speak from how I feel, and I think the players know why after showing them yesterday, and they understand it.
So on one hand, you're questioning the players' bravery, mentality, character, but on the other hand, you picked these players. You know, so at what point is that on you?
Oh yeah, it's all on me. It's always on the leader. So I either haven't stressed the importance of it enough. I haven't prepared them enough for the mentality that Motherwell were going to have. I think we spoke about it. We spoke about what they would come with, and we were pretty much, well, we knew what was going to come, and they were going to be really aggressive. But yeah, ultimately, it's always on the manager, the team. It reflects that. So that's why I was disappointed and hurt, because I don't think that reflected who we are as a coaching staff and our personality and what we expect. It's only happened a few times at previous clubs, and whenever we've questioned that, the response has been brilliant, and I expect it to be the same now.
I've seen a lot of reaction from pundits, from Rangers fans, and I think it's been warmly welcomed that they've been calling out for this honesty, and you said it's something you're aware of, this mentality problem within the club has been here a few years. There's a saying in football, you can only go to the well so many times. You've come out very early with a public dressing down of your players. How much of a gamble is that for you? Is it something you feel you can do again? You will do again if you have to?
No, I think if we're doing it again, then we have a problem. I just got asked that in the press conference about doing it early. I don't know when's the right time. So we're at a club that demands success and quickly and hasn't had enough recently. And it wasn't a contrived thing. I've just been honest about what the problems were. If the problems were we were coming up against something tactically that we weren't prepared for and all that stuff, in the same way I'd be honest about that. So I said to the players, I just don't want that to be, if we need to have success, so it needs to be based on this first and foremost. But if we do lose a game, but the performance is outstanding, which happens sometimes in football, then I can go out of a level of comfort and say we played really well, and I'm not going to lie to anyone. But when we didn't do the fundamental stuff, then it's a problem. So I don't see it now or in 6 months' time. I don't see it being a problem when the players know and understand why and where it comes from. So I don't expect it to be a problem. I really don't moving forward. So it's better we get out of the way early. And there is so much change for the players. It's not easy. But we can't choose. And when it's a tough moment for the team, we have to run more than ever rather than going back to like, oh, I'm not sure. And I know I've been a player. It's really hard. That self-preservation thing, wanting to protect yourself and be comfortable, and rather than trying to look out for each other and your team, it is like a learned behaviour, and we have to change them habits to like elite ones, to winning ones. So that's not an overnight thing, but I'm convinced with the players we have and how willing they've been to do what we're asking them to do, we'll be fine.
You've had 2 training sessions, I believe, since Saturday evening. What reaction have you had in your
players? The guys who have trained, there's obviously been a big onus on recovery because we played 3 tough games last week, and 1 in serious heat and a lot of travel, so there's been a big onus on that. But in the meeting room they've been great, some good honest conversation, and the ones who have trained like beasts. So I think they can sense maybe there's an opportunity for them to get in the team and maybe stay in the team. So we have big decisions to make ahead of the game for the team selection, but I'm convinced the one we pick will be the one that we feel has the most energy and readiness to win.
See, when you talked about players, some of the players having to rein in their egos, Was that about players who you think don't want to be here, think should now be playing at a higher level? What was that about?
It's really the language you use. So people will define ego in different ways. For me, it's not about wanting to be here. It's the self-preservation thing is a fear of being exposed or whatever in football. And it doesn't mean they're bad people, they have too much, because you have to have a level of ego to play for this football club, to take the ball, to take the pressure of having that ball, and because it's not easy. It's not easy, and it's not for everyone. So I didn't mean it like that in a complete negative way. I meant it in that the way they want to protect themselves sometimes. Not that anyone's, because they're a really good group actually. They're a really good group to work with, the players. I've been really impressed with their willingness to train hard. But then when it gets tough, it's that self-protection thing, and that's part of the ego. So we have to make sure that they feel safe enough to keep running, and then it's on us as a coaching staff. It's not on them. So they'll learn that. We're working each other out all the time, and it just needs to be really clear on what's expected.
Two of Rangers' top performers last season were Diamandi and Raskin. I think many were surprised that they were substituted on Saturday evening. Was that tactical? Was that performance related? Was that attitude related?
I think they were knackered, being honest. So they put in massive shifts on Wednesday night in the heat, travelled a lot. They've had a week's less training than everyone else because they had internationals in the summer. So I think it was just about fatigue and physical and needing freshness. And actually we had two options in them areas, and we don't have options in every area of the pitch, but we had two options who had trained really well in Nadeem and Lyle and brought us some energy. And Nadeem had a couple of good moments in the box, and I thought Lyle Cameron did really well.
Oliver Antman is in the building, a very welcome addition, I'm sure. Talk to us about what he will bring to Rangers Football Club, and how many more ideally you're looking to get in before the window closes.
Well, I think he'll bring quality, he'll bring good mentality. He's played in a couple of countries, done really well, plays for his country and has done really well. Athleticism. But when I met him and spoke to him, I just really liked his attitude. He was really desperate. He's had a lot of interest across Europe, but he wanted to be here because he understands the size of it and the opportunity here. And he's a good person, so I think he's going to add a lot to us on and off the pitch culturally and in terms of performance, which is really important because we can't have one without the other. So in terms of how many more, I don't know. We need to keep improving the squad as much as we can within the framework that we have, and the ownership have been great and so supportive. So me and Kevin continue to speak about that every day, and we just have to make sure that when they come in, they're the right ones. So Mikey's come in and Oliver, and we're really pleased with them.
Rangers in the UEFA Champions League qualifiers.
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Right, Russell Martin there, Derek. Was he right to blast the players in such a public manner? There has got to be an element of risk surrounding that.
Yeah, I'm kind of... At the time, it seemed quite refreshing to me, but when I had to think about it, and Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, I wasn't quite sure it was the correct decision. I think everybody will have a different take on it. I think it's just sometimes it is good to keep things in-house. Because what we do, well, what managers do, what Russell Martin has done, he's gave you guys probably what you want, a lot of ammunition. You know, everybody's looking at it in a different way. Nearly just pointed out to me as well, you know, the starting 11 were out, and the subs don't come out for another 5 minutes. Now, I probably wouldn't have even looked at that or thought about that any different, but then you start to think, is there a kind of within that dressing room, is it fractured? Listen, this is where a manager has, it's not just out in the football park, it's getting that dressing room right, getting that togetherness.
There's players there who would have hated these comments on Saturday night from the manager.
Well, I would have hated it because he's obviously spoke about right away. The one that flagged up for me was body language. And looking at the game, I could remember Tav a few times, a shrug of the shoulders, the arms, and Raskin did at times, but everybody's different. Diamandi, he never really shows too much emotion, he just gets on with it. So everybody's different, everybody reacts differently, but it doesn't mean that you're not trying, you're not giving everything. I was quite surprised when he said they were knackered. I thought Rodwell looked knackered, I thought he looked leggy, but for me, Diamandi and Raskin, I think these guys are more than capable going and playing in Athens in the searing heat and then coming back to Fir Park on a Saturday night on a beautiful surface. I'm sure they would, to me, that they could handle. Yeah, you can point a finger at one or two things tactically. I think they were found wanting at times, just in terms of the speed of play and everything. But to answer your question, the manager's, he's been very brave tonight. He's made big decisions. Well, listen, it needs to work for him, that's for sure.
Neil, he said the mentality issues, the question marks over character have been around the club for a few years. Does that chime with what you saw when you were in with Barry Ferguson?
Well, when we were in there, we felt that they were flat when we went in. We've spoken as a staff to say that we need to get more resolute when times are not going well. I think Russell mentioned similar type ideas that when it's not going well, you have to show a different sign, not just about ability. You have to meet what's ahead of you, and particularly domestically, because you'll try and be that ability will try and be neutralised by hard work or aggression, so you need to meet that sometimes, and that's something that we felt maybe lacked a wee bit, but we totally believed that we had turned that, given the fact that certain results that we were getting, adversity we were facing, we were actually standing up to. Now, what Russell's saying about attitude, ego, talking about his interpretation of ego, a lot of people's might be different to his, talking about always wanting the ball, it's not for everyone. I didn't see anybody hiding from the ball at the weekend. Russell's obviously got a clear plan of what he's looking for. He's got an absolute cast iron way that he wants to play, and that's going to take time. He's got 6 of his own players, or 6 of new signings in the starting lineup tonight, which might give him a bit of continuity in what he's looking for, because you would hope then that these new players won't have any preconceived ideas of how they've played in the past, or any remaining thoughts about how the game should go, or maybe, I don't know, weakness of mind that he's maybe questioning. But generally, Kenny, the group, they're good boys, but at times they let themselves down when times get tough, and not trusting their ability and why they're at the football club. But I genuinely felt that we had turned in that towards the latter stage of our time. But looking at never mind my time now, but looking at what Russell's doing now, and his comments, and doing whether it's the right thing to lambast their side
so early.
Well, so early. He did say, well, what is early? When's the right time to do it? I mean, we never missed anybody in there as a coaching staff. I think Fergie will back that up with Barry and what he's like. I think we were both like that, Dodgy and I, along with Barry, that the players understood we placed the same demand on this great club in terms of what's expected, and what's expected on the training ground and in the park. But at times Barry came out and he was brutally honest, and I think we all were when we did our media. We wouldn't stand in ceremony and play a tactical, political situation as well, but it was very open, and
how did they respond to that? I'm wondering what the character is like in that dressing room, how they would have responded when they heard the manager had gone so public. There have got to be players in that dressing room that will not react well to this. No idea how they reacted, Kenny. I couldn't say, because I actually don't know what was actually said in the dressing room. I only know what it said afterwards. But listen, I had shouting matches with Nico Raskin, I had shouting matches with several players in there, but they knew that I was that type of abrasive character, that I would still place the demand on him. But I tell you what, I never had any lasting effects from it, Kenny. No, Raskin was brilliant under you guys.
We Nico was one of the ones that I clashed with early, and I clashed several times because I said about his discipline sometimes. He's absolutely not a player that wants to hide from the ball, let me tell you, because sometimes he wanted to do other people's jobs, and I wanted him to stay in a position that actually helped us as a team. And with him moving out to try and dictate the play, sometimes it burst our shape.
What is his position?
I think he's an 8. I think he's a guy that needs to gallop into the box, but he's shown for Belgium he can play that holding role, the number 6 which you wanted to play. Dodgy's spoken about this many times, I think Fergie has as well, but Fergie was a proper number 6, and all of a sudden turned himself into this goal scoring midfielder because he had more to offer. Yes, he can play a deep line midfielder, but he had more to offer than that, and that's what we were trying to tell Nico. And you would have rows with him, and sometimes, as Russell said, you've got to show him the pictures why you're asking him to do a certain job. But I tell you, towards the end, me and him had a great relationship, because they are good guys. You've got to sit down and explain the reasons for him. You can't just batter him. But I'm surprised he's not playing tonight, because I still believe he's one of Rangers' best players. But Russell has backed up what he believes in terms of he's got options in those areas. He just said it there. He took Diomande off, and he's taken Raskin off at weekend because he felt he's got options to change it up. Brought Conor Barron on in there, he brought Lyle Cameron, and he's freshened it up. This is a dangerous game for him tonight. He's got a certain way he wants to play. He will take risks. This team, in my opinion, looking at how many goals, 70 odd goals they scored last season, there are no mugs in the final third. Panathinaikos let Rangers off the hook in the last 2 games in the previous rounds. I don't think they can afford to take the chances, Derek, in this game.
Yeah, see on Raskin, I agree with you, Nearly, in terms of let him off the leash. He's a box to box, but too many times he's away wide in the left.
He's playing left back at times.
I want him more in the middle of the park. He's combative, he loves the duels, he wins most of them. I just think you don't get the best out of him. Against Motherwell at times, in the wide left position, he wasn't comfortable. You can just see that. It's the same with Suter as well. It's the same with Aarons. So that's where it's on the manager. He's playing 1 or 2 out of position. It's not quite suiting him. And that's why, when things are not going great, you're not getting the performance level. That's when you start to have a look at it, and that's when you start highlighting certain things. But Raskin, for me, I'd like him in the middle on a 2, but give him that freedom to hit box to box.
Yeah, what we have watched in the start of the season is I don't think Rangers have searing pace up top. Like we said about, I think there's a lack of pace. Now, if you've got a lack of pace, you need players that can beat or get early crosses into the box. If with that, you need midfielders that can also hit the box. Raskin and Diamande can both do that, but at times your point you're making there, because of inverted fullbacks and the winger staying right wide, Russell's asking, because he wants to play as these midfielders, instead of hitting the box or getting into forward areas, they're coming into a deep line fullback almost. That's what you're seeing. Yeah, we're both seeing the same types of, but that's his style.
You must have loved your time as part of the manager. The run game I was doing here, Neil, and I arrived, and I was thinking that you would normally be with us in the Albion car park walking along here, and you're riding the team bus outside the front door. I mean, just what was that experience like for you?
It was amazing. I mean, there's an element, a huge element of pride having played here and won trophies, and you get the opportunity to come back and take the team. But you're not doing it as a gift, Kenny. You're actually thinking, right, this is an opportunity to go in and actually show the guys and show all the Rangers fans that you know what you're doing. You're up here doing a job. We're up here calling it like we see it as a player, or we'll get your coach's head on or your manager's head on, but then you've got an opportunity to take the team and put your wits against every other manager you're coming up against, and there's problems that arise. But the opportunity was so special, and we grabbed it with both hands, gave it a best shot. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be to go any further than the time that was afforded to us, but it was an amazing experience, let me tell you.
Yeah, fantastic experience for you all. It's Russell Martin's time now. He was saying yesterday to me how much he is enjoying. We've been joined on the gantry by Stevie Clipper from the Four Lads, Had a Dream podcast. Good evening to you, Stevie. Lots to chat about. I just want to roll this back. When the appointment was made of Russell Martin, what was your reaction? Was he the right man for you?
Good evening, everyone. First of all, was he the right man? I'm not sure. I believe that, to be quite honest. Once it became clear that it wasn't going to be the previous management team, it kind of looked like to me that Ancelotti was a big favourite. Russell Martin's name was quietly mentioned there and thereabouts, but for me he was never really a front runner, so there was an element of surprise. When I did find out, it became clear a couple of days before that it was going to be Russell Martin's job, so it surprised me. I have reservations over that at the time. So
where are you now?
Where I am now is that I'm fully behind him, as I would be anybody that's in the dugout. Whether or not it's going to work, time will tell. He's certainly got some ideas that are different to us, that's for sure, and we've seen that already on the pitch. But I'm prepared to give him a chance. I like what he's done tonight. I think that takes a lot of guts to make the changes that he has. We'll find out if it works very soon, but a lot of the fan base would agree with things that he's done tonight. So it's a really interesting one, and we're going to have to wait and see how it unfolds, but I'm certainly prepared to buy into what he's trying to do.
Were you in favour of the very public criticism on Saturday night?
Yes, because I think it was needed, and I was surprised that he'd done it as early as he did it. That shocked me a wee bit. I was on the way home from the game on Saturday when I heard it, and that it surprised me. But I think it's necessary, because I agree with him. I think that there's a mentality issue here. I think even Barry spoke about it in the short term time he was here. He's seen it. It's something that previous managers have spoken about, and I think that a lot of the things that he said to me as a supporter watching it rang true with me. So Yeah, I do. I think it's brave to do it as early as I can. He's obviously looking for a reaction, and he's made some really, really big changes tonight, which he's going to be judged on. But I also think, having done that, there's no way he couldn't have done it, because if he hadn't have done it, people would have said, well, it's all just noise, and we've heard that before. So to make the decisions he's made tonight, I think, are brave. To go as early as I can is brave as well, and we'll see ultimately how it works out.
Yeah, but that's the thing, Neil, isn't it? He's going to be judged on the next few games. Having done what he did at the weekend, Neil, he is going to be judged in the next few games about how this works out for him because of these big calls.
Of course he will, but Russell doesn't strike me as the type of guy that is bothered by judgment. I said there, his belief in what he does is cast iron. I know he might change shape, but his whole football mind is geared in a certain way they play. You can see it, the central midfielders open out the pitch and trying to open out the central striker, but the wingers stay wide, and sometimes that looks as if the passes are getting blocked, but there's a certain pattern he wants to do without giving away his tactics. You can see what he's trying to do. His forward passes into wingers are done at a pace where it's almost trying to encourage a bite to eliminate them with the wingers stepping inside then. So there's loads of things that he wants to do. He doesn't care, in my opinion, having listened to Russell, what people think of him.
That's the impression I got yesterday, Neil, certainly.
Because he's come here with a certain way of playing. He hasn't changed since his time down south, going to whether it be MK Dons, Swansea, Southampton, and then come to Rangers. He's going to play a certain way. He believes that's what he got a job on, and I honestly don't think he'll change.
How concerned are you, Derek? You were there on Saturday night. 52 opportunities in the 3 games, given up to the opposition in 3 games. That seems a heck of a lot. Are they too open for you? Yeah,
it's high risk football, but that's the way Russell Martin's going to go, and that he's pretty much warning and saying it's going to be a bumpy road. Am I comfortable with it? No, to be honest with you, not really. I think, there's a way of playing, but sometimes when a player is in possession of the ball, it's up to you to make the decision, the correct decision. And I just think at times one or two are maybe, in my opinion, are not capable, and they're kind of been forced into play a certain way. I don't think some of them are good enough to play that style of football. And when you get that, I like them maybe to go just a little bit longer, but because you don't want to be giving away possession of the ball, in and around your box. But see, on this one, calling people out, you can still call people out, you can still play them. You can say, right, I've had a go at you. Go on, you show me what you're all about. So, see, this is where I slightly disagree. Yeah, he's come out, he's had a go at the boys. We'll give them another opportunity, because over the 2 games previous, the performance wasn't the greatest, but it was a couple of good results, because we didn't expect to get through. Well, I didn't expect us. So I'd expected them to give him maybe one more opportunity, but no, he's went down a different road. It's a brave one. Well, and I tell you what, it needs to work for him.
How quickly, Stevie, does it need to work? When he was appointed, I felt he had to go off to a flyer. That was my interpretation of it, because he wasn't overwhelmingly supported, I think, in terms of that appointment. Where are you in terms of what he needs to do and how quickly he needs to do it?
He needs to win, and he needs to win quickly. There's, the demands here haven't changed. The opinion of the support hasn't changed. We're all aware of the context of how big a job this is, and how many changes are required and how many changes are still required, but it doesn't matter. You have to win. It has to win tonight. He has to win even more tonight, having made the changes and the big decisions that he's made. It's imperative that he wins. It was imperative that he started well on Saturday, because as we've seen from the response, there's certain people in the crowd that are still to be persuaded that he's the man to be here. So in relation to when does he have to start winning and everything else, it's vital that he goes in a run very quickly.
We've seen it with Michael Beale. We saw it with Michael Beale. Gets toxic in here very quickly.
Yeah, it does.
Come on the same.
Yeah, but that's the demands of this football club. And Barry was here before, and Barry faced the same demands, and he was a club legend, and so did the guys with him. And that is exactly how it is, and how it will remain at Rangers. Russell Martin, probably is behind the 8 ball in that he's not a favourite like Barry was, and Barry still got that same scrutiny on him, and we know what he faced. So yeah, it's the demands of the football club. The fans expect it. We all expect that we come here tonight and we win the game, and yeah, they'll applaud that selection, and if it goes well, they'll all say great. If it doesn't, they'll all ask, why did you make those changes? And that is the demands of this football club.
Yeah, big calls from the manager tonight. Stevie, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Stevie Clifford there from the Four Lads Had a Dream podcast. We heard earlier on from the manager, he was reflecting yesterday on his comments from the weekend and the subsequent reaction from his players in training. Let's hear how he's feeling ahead of this game tonight. He spoke a short time ago with our reporter Andy Burke.
Russell, another big night under the lights at Ibrox. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it was an incredible evening against Panathinaikos. The support was amazing, even for a difficult start in that game. And I'm expecting a real big response from the players. So we need to really create some energy early on in the stadium through the performance, through willingness to run. And I think we picked a good team to do that.
You clearly weren't happy with the performance against Motherwell. Are you confident those issues have been aired and ironed out and the boys are ready to put in a better display tonight?
Yeah, I think we're so early on. We're 6 weeks in, so I don't expect everything to be perfect. We are going to take time. There's so much change going on the pitch, off the pitch. But there are some stuff that just can't be negotiable throughout all of that. So it won't look perfect in terms of the football sometimes, but it needs to in terms of attitude and mentality. And I'm really expecting us to bring that tonight.
Oliver Antman comes in straight into your team for his debut. Big game to pitch him in. What are you expecting from him tonight?
He's a good player. He's played in big games for his club and his country. Just good athleticism, real competitor, good quality, and I think he'll give us a different dimension. So we have a very different looking front three than we did a week ago even, and things are going to keep changing and evolving, and we have to keep trying to find a way. But Seal's ready to start, which is great. Gas is getting more and more minutes and getting really up to speed, and I think Oliver will help us as well.
How big a decision was it to leave your captain James Tavernier out of this starting line?
They're all big decisions. It's the hardest job in the world as a manager to leave people out regardless of who they are. So one decision is not bigger than any other. So yeah, they're all tough calls and hopefully we made the right ones.
Viktoria Plzeň showed in the last round they're capable of going on the road and performing well. What are you expecting from them tonight?
Yeah, they're a good team. They're well organised, they're big, they're strong, they're powerful. They play forward quickly, they run forward, they're aggressive with and without the ball. So we have to match all of that in terms of our mentality and make sure we try and turn it into the game that we want.
The Rangers fans really carried you through some tough moments in the last round here against Panathinaikos. You're going to need them again tonight.
Yeah, and in Greece they did. They were brilliant, and even the support on Saturday, they were fantastic. So I'm really grateful for that. We're going to need them again tonight. We're really early on in the process, as I said, but we need to do enough to win and get through, and they'll play a huge part in that.
Russell Martin there, big crowd in here at Ibrox tonight, just actually about 20 or 30 Pilsen fans over there in the corner. The players lining up in front of us now. Neil McCann, what are you looking to see tonight? What's key for Rangers this evening?
Well, I'm hoping I'm going to see a Rangers win, of course. I think there needs to be purpose in their play. I would like to see out of possession, probably a better balance in how they go and press the ball, because they pressed really aggressively against Motherwell. Kenny, they went and they emptied the whole midfield and Motherwell played through them. You do that against this team because of how they line up, I think you could get punished. So a little bit of structure and discipline out of possession, but play with a bravery and freedom with the ball and get plenty of shots on goals. Let's attack this team, Pilsen. I think if Russell Martin's message should be, try and get yourselves a cushion, and then really then you can start to look towards progressing in this competition.
You feeling confident, Derek?
I'll tell you in about 10 minutes. To be honest with you, listen, the level of performance has got to be up. Listen, we got a desired result, European-wise. So again, listen, more than often, this is when the boys do deliver. You know, it's a big night, full house. They'll play with aggression, with an appetite, which they certainly didn't do on Saturday night. You know, certainly in that second half, because let's no mistake, it was absolutely woeful. So listen, we expect them to go and win this game. They are at home, they should be the favourites, but again, it will be tough.
Well, it's time now to sit back and enjoy the action. It's Rangers against Viktoria Plzeň in their Champions League qualifier with Neil McCann, Derek Ferguson and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks very much, Kenny. Yet another huge night for Rangers early in the tenure of Russell Martin as they continue to try to navigate a successful course to the Champions League proper. Panathinaikos were dealt with, albeit not overly convincingly, before the weekend stumble against Motherwell, and so a reaction is expected and required against Viktoria Plzeň this evening. The two sides just going through the last few handshakes. John Souttar is the Rangers captain tonight, and so he makes his way back onto the field of play after handing over the pennant that he's just received from his Czech counterpart Matej Vydra. Rangers are all in blue tonight. Their opposition are all in white as the referee Clement Turpin makes his way into the centre spot. Hugely experienced ref, and he will be the man making the decisions in the middle tonight. It will be, by the looks of it, Viktoria Plzeň to get us off and running. They'll go from left to right as we look at it from our position on the gantry in the main stand. And let's see what the reaction is from the Rangers players to those comments very publicly from Russell Martin. Surprised many people. Will it have the desired effect? As Plzeň get us underway, and immediately it's launched long down the left hand side. It comes off Aarons and it's picked up by Spatchil, the left wing back for the visitors. He gets it half into the area. It's knocked away by Nasser Giga, who for me had a more assured performance against Motherwell, one of the few who actually improved their performance. But it is going to be a throw-in over on the far side early doors to Viktoria Plzeň, and it looks like they're going to try and launch one into the Rangers area as across there goes the striker Durosinme, the Nigerian, to take this one. So you would expect him to have a long throw in his armoury from the left hand side. Then in it comes. The Rangers defence needs to deal with it, and John Suter, the captain, doesn't. It comes back in on the volley, but it's well wide from Lukas Cherva. Played almost a minute here, and it's Rangers nil and Viktoria Plzeň nil. Jack Butland gets things moving once more very early as Jefty picks up on the left hand side and finds Gassama. Gassama goes back the way to Suter, who again will play on the left hand side of that central defence and plays it into Diamondi, and then gets it back once more and plays it to Giga. Out to Aarons, playing in the right back position for the first time for Rangers. Now out to Diamondi, who already you can see is playing in that, splitting into the right hand side. Now it's Cameron on his first Rangers start, bursting forward. Now Jefty up towards the edge of the area. It's Gassama on the angle of the box, tries to link with Jefty once more. The Brazilian fullback for Gassama once more, into the penalty area he goes, tries to whip it across goal. The keeper collects it at the near post, and the Rangers fans getting behind their side. Gassama and Jefty, Derek, with some decent link up in the early stages.
Yeah, good little link up down the left hand side. Jefty getting himself forward, plays a lovely little ball into Gassama, and tell you what, I think just when he gets to the byline, just looking for a little bit more of a cutback, a little bit more pace on the ball. But it's a decent start, but you could see from Plzeň, very direct in their play.
John Suter being closed down quickly there by Durosinme, and eventually Rangers get the free kick for the attentions of the striker. Again, Rangers look to get the ball moving extra quickly. Butland plays it short to Rothwell, and now it's Suter just on the edge of his own box. Durosinme comes to try and close him down. Again, Rangers will try and play out, and he plays it square to Giga, and then out to Aarons. Aarons forward now for the run of Diamondi. He's not going to quite get there first. It's knocked back to the goalkeeper, and good clearance there from the goalkeeper as Markovic played the ball back to him with some pace, but he dealt with it well. Neil McCann, early thoughts of yourself?
Well, first of all, I like the longer pass to Diamondi because he is prepared to break forward. Dio has been so many short passes. I think it's a real style of play that Russell wants to do. He wants to play little short passes. I know the Rangers fans get upset at times because it looks as if it's undercooked, but it's almost trying to get the opposition to bite and then play through. The one thing that screamed to me right away, Fergie, was Jefty being naturally up on the left side, whereas Aarons likes to come inside, so there was a real balance for me immediately for Jefty.
Here is Jefty. He's giving it away to Vydra at the edge of the penalty area. Vidra's going to try and hit one, comes off Giga, but kindly into the arms of Jack Butland. But Rangers are going to be taking risks. We know that, we've seen it already this season, and it is going to offer the opposition opportunities at time. They didn't take that one as Rangers come forward to the halfway line, but it's picked up by Cherv, and the visitors have already looked comfortable in these early stages as Jefty has to stretch to get his header away, picked up by Vydra, and now into the midfield it's Ladra. Ladra plays it into the box, Suter heads clear, Cameron will pick up and just try and hold on to it, does well, good composure, now finds Gassama up towards the halfway line. He's challenged but it breaks for Cameron. Cameron's got Dessers ahead of him, he tries to play it in the channel for the striker. Now it's back with Gassama, left hand side, about 30 yards from goal. Back in field to Rothwell. Rothwell into Diamondi, just plays it on to Aarons. Aarons out to Antman. First touch for him in a Rangers jersey, the Finnish right winger. Back it goes to the halfway line, and it's Suter with the armband at the edge of the centre circle, invited forward into Dessers, back to Rothwell, and then back to Giga at the edge of the centre circle. Rangers remaining patient. Antman out to Aarons and back into Giga. Everyone behind the ball at the moment for Viktoria Plzeň, who beat Hearts in the Europa League playoff round last season, 1-0 in both legs. Here's Antman, first chance to try and run at the Viktoria Plzeň backline. Now Rodo tries to slide it through for Diamondi. It was just too much on it, a couple of yards off its target from Rothwell, behind for a goal kick. 5 minutes played, Rangers 0, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
It's nice to see Antman, getting on the ball early. The first thing he's got in his mind, get at the player, try and create something. I just like to see a little bit more pace in their passing, in that final third. Rangers just move it a little bit quicker, side to side. If you're going to get your wide men on the ball, try and get them 1v1s and, see if they can create. But certainly a little bit more positive early on in this game.
Florian Vigela, the 6'8" goalkeeper for Viktoria Plzeň, launches it over the halfway line, and it's headed high in the air by Durasinmi. Gets the second ball as well. Rothwell leaves it to Diamondi. It's back with Aarons. Aarons moves away from one potential challenge, finds Suter, and now it's Jefti midway inside his own half. Turns one way then the other and plays it left to Cameron. Cameron about 10 yards inside his own half, goes back to Suter. And Suter just waits for Vidra to come to him, then plays it into the midfield looking for Diamondi. There's a foot in there from the centre back Jamelka, and then back to the goalkeeper as he clears to the halfway line. Rothwell gets his head to it, but it's fallen to the left hand side to Spazio, who plays it forward looking for Durasinmi, but it's just mopped up by Giga there, helped on by Antman. Again, loose ball in the midfield, picked up by Diamondi, and again possession turns over very quickly. Back with the Czech side, who finished second in the league last season, and made decent progress in the Europa League as well. Not quite as far as Rangers, but a good campaign as Memic, the Bosnian, comes down the right hand side. Across comes Suter. Memic to the edge of the penalty area on the right hand side, held up by the Rangers captain, and it comes in the header for Durasimni. Won it above Aarons but couldn't hit the target. But an early opportunity for the Czechs. 7 minutes in, Rangers 0, Plzeň 0.
Memic looks quick out. It was 2v1 against Aarons at the back post as well. Giga had just come across towards the central area and the cross took him out, so just a little indication that this team are dangerous in the wide areas. It's something that I think that opposition will try and pick on with Rangers, because of the fullbacks go inside, so those wing positions become vacant in an area that you can go and expose.
Here's Giga at the back for Rangers. Aarons now infield to Diamondi and into Rothwell. Fired right into him, but he managed to keep it under control and gets it back to Giga. But again, Rangers playing it short at the back. Back to Butland it goes from Suter. All in yellow. Butland, just a poor ball forward. It's picked up on the left hand side by Spazio. Back in field now for Ladra, one of the players expected to pick up the mantle now that Schultz, their star man, has left, and that's certainly good news for Rangers that he's not available tonight. Neil and I saw him last season playing against Hearts in our coverage of that one, and he was certainly a quality player. They've lost a couple of players since then as Dessers goes down just on the touch line, and he might need a bit of treatment here. The ball will not come back into play just yet, but I was going to say, Neil, they've lost a couple of players since then. Kalvac is another one from the midfield, but they were a decent side then, not amazing, but
no, they weren't. But Schultz was the one that stood out because he was involved in so many goals for Plzeň last year, assists, scoring them. So Rangers are very fortunate that he's not here this evening, but I think they still carry enough threat. There's been a little indication already that they're going to try and pour bodies forward, and Rangers need to be vigilant. I said about the discipline out of possession.
Rangers throw in midway inside their own half on the left hand side to be taken by Jefti. Almost 9 on the clock, no goals as yet as Jefti throws it into Kasami, tries to let the ball run across him. He does well, he gets it to Diamondi on the halfway line. Aarons coming forward on the right as well. Here is the full back, well into Viktoria Plzeň half now, advancing towards the edge of the penalty, then plays out to Antman. Antman on the touchline, comes in off that flank, looking for options. He goes back to Rothwell. Rothwell have to go back to the halfway line to Giga, and then it comes square to Suter, and Suter out to the left hand side for Jefte, making his first start of the season. The Brazilian who was very much first choice throughout last year, as he plays it into Diamonde. Diamonde takes a rather heavy touch but does get it to Aarons. Aarons about 35 yards from goal, tries to play in Antman. Antman might just get there, he does. Header at the back post. Gassama couldn't quite get there ahead of Doué, who managed to get the glancing header clear before Gassama could notch yet another European goal, but a good move. Still 0-0, throw in quickly taken. It's Jefte looking for options, just to go all the way back to the halfway line, but Antman showing his speed and also a good delivery.
Aaron's ball was perfectly weighted inside the fullback, and Antman, he's on his bike. I tell you, when he gets here, it's a lovely little clip just to the back post there. Defended very well, but that was good signs, wasn't it? You know, like you see that a little bit more forward passing, a little bit of pace on it, just been a little bit more intensity in Rangers' game.
Giga gets it back from Diamonde. Aarons is available again on the right hand side, and that's where the ball goes. Preferred to James Tavernier, the captain at right back, as Giga tries to play it forward for the bursting run of Lyle Cameron, but Doué just sees the ball out of play over on the far side. 10.5 played. Neil, you'd have appreciated that wing play from Antman.
Well, I loved it because it's so refreshing to see a winger just take off. You don't need to beat anybody. Your movement can just do a fullback, so the intent is there. Then you're hoping that the midfielder or fullback, as it was there for Aarons, can see and execute the pass. We always herald Maeda on the other side of the city in terms of his speed in behind and how it eliminates the defences. Antman showed there that he's prepared to go in behind without the ball, which is going to be such an important weapon.
Vidras flick on was left by a couple of Rangers players, and that allows Durasimi to pick up and come forward here as Plzeň tried to create something. Dessers just caught Cherv there, not once but twice, both I think accidentally, but nonetheless Cherv felt that. But play continues, but Diamonde picks up on the ball forward, and Aarons will just knock it back to Butland. Butland into Suter. Suter for Giga on the edge of the box. Now out to Aarons' right hand side. Giga once more on loan from Wolves, having made a €12 million move from Red Star Belgrade not so long ago. Butland this time goes long. It's going to carry all the way through to his opposite number, who's just outside his penalty area. Brings it back into the box and picks it up. There's the big Austrian goalkeeper.
There's nothing wrong with that every now and again, you know, just mixing it up. Yeah, you can see that they're ready to pounce, but Butland there just electing to go a little bit longer. It just makes the opposition think a little bit more, you know, shallow, close them down, you know. So every now and again, nothing wrong with that.
He's back with Vigela, who I was going to say he's not necessarily the first choice here, but Lichka is unavailable tonight and not actually in the European squad at the moment. So Vigela, who went out on loan last season, back to his homeland with Grazer, and played about 15 games for them. He's given the gloves this evening. Loose ball forward from Suter, and here's Cherv being clipped by Cameron. Cherv quickly back up, and the referee allows him to continue. Cameron got booked for his first intervention as a Rangers player with a very similar challenge at the weekend, and perhaps fortunate not to get another one there, with the referee allowing the advantage.
You know, the ball from Suter that the fans are sort of having a little go at him is a good ball, but you're looking for the striker then to come, because that's what I've been watching Rangers doing, the two central midfielders separating the wide areas, and it opens up that channel.
Sam asking too much there of Dessers, but yeah, I mean, clearly that's what Russell Martin's asking John Suter and others to do, play the ball into the feet of whether it be Dessers or Danilo.
Yeah, so it's obviously an element of the game that they're trying to kind of promote and work on, and that's possibly what Russell Martin is talking about, that the players need to get on the same page quickly.
Goalkeeper clears, 13, almost 14 played, no goals at Ibrox as yet in the first leg of the Champions League third qualifying round tie, as Jefte picks up just inside his own half and advances over the halfway line and plays it out to Gassama. goal in each leg against Panathinaikos to take Rangers through. Into the feet of Dessers at the edge of the box. Dessers looking to link with Gassama once more. Gassama with a chance. Goal! Jenny Gassama once again! Wonderful 1-2 with Cyril Dessers, and he finishes it with aplomb. And what a record this young man has got in European competition already for Rangers. 3 European ties, 3 goals. Rangers hit the front. It's Rangers 1, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
And exactly what you want from your wide man. As soon as he picks up the ball, Gassama just drives inside. It's good. I was thinking, what's Cameron doing? You know, he's taking bodies into that area, but he drives inside, and it's a lovely little give and go with Dessers. It's all about the weight of the pass back into Gassama, and I tell you, he just picks his spot absolutely superbly into that bottom left-hand corner. And I was just about to come to you and say, already I like the look of Antman. You know, when you look at Gassama, quality in wide areas. If I'm a midfielder, that's my first thought. Can I get the ball to these guys? And Gassama, terrific goal.
Yeah, I mean, really good finish. But you can't underestimate the part that Cyril Dessers plays there. I know he's been battered, and we'll just let this attack happen here out.
Yeah, there's a little nudge there on Giga as he tries to buy the free kick. The referee's not buying it, and is there going to be a corner as he just tried to make sure Ladra didn't advance? There's going to be a corner then on the left hand side for Viktoria Plzeň, but absolutely Dessers' return ball for Gassama was right on the money, perfectly weighted, and allowed Gassama to run onto it and slot home. 1-0 Rangers, but a corner to defend here from the left hand side. And it comes angled towards the edge of the box. Vidra needs to bring it down. Cameron's quickly out to him, sliding challenge. Vidra gets the better of him. Was there a handball there? Yeah, the referee spotted. I think the assistant helped him out there as well, but Vidra, the accidental handball, but it is punished, and Rangers can breathe a sigh of relief as that attack comes to an end, and the 1 goal remains intact. Neil, I'll let you go back to the point
the point I was going to make, the little return pass is brilliant, but the fact that he comes ball side as a number 9 now is so important, because they play with a lone striker. You're either leaving that gap for a central midfielder to bust through, or you get yourself across to provide yourself a little wall pass, which he did brilliantly.
Yeah, still doubt about the future of Cyril Dessers, and as Neil said, he still maybe splits opinion, but I mean, he's got a fabulous goal scoring record regardless of the chances he does miss. He's not that far short of people like Chris Boyd in terms of goal scoring records. Alfredo Morelos as well, absolute heroes to the Rangers fans. Here's Gassama, the goal scorer, left hand side. He has lit up Ibrox already, and you can hear the noise level has gone up a good notch or two with that goal having gone in. We've played 17 minutes as Suter just flicks the ball away before he's closed down by Durasinmi. And now it's Aarons in the right back position, goes back the way to Giga, midway inside his own half. And you can see opposition teams are going to just bide their time and then try and pounce on Rangers as they try and play out, but Rangers have coped with it okay so far. No massive scares at the back as Suter has it just inside his own half. Dessers comes off the front and lays it back to Giga, out to the right hand side then for Aarons. About 20 yards inside Plzeň territory, back to Giga and then back for Suter on the centre spot. Into Dessers it comes once more, and he lays it back to Giga again, just trying to draw Plzeň out. Antman's a little loose with his pass to Aarons, and then Aarons just fires it down the right wing. Antman will give chase once more. It's knocked back to the goalkeeper by Spatchil, and he clears it long up to Giga, and then Cameron picks up on the right hand side for Rangers. Good possession this from the home side. Jefty wanted it there from Giga, eventually does play the pass, and Jefty, as the guys were saying, natural left-sided player, is much more comfortable coming forward in that position than Aarons was in the last 2 or 3 games. Rangers have lost out though, and Neil was talking about the vacated full-back positions, and we're seeing that right now as Memic comes forward, plays it into the area. It's Vidra with a chance, great block by Giga, and then it's cleared away. No, Giga, really important block there, and then Dessers is wrestled to the ground. Gassama picks up for Rangers, trying to go one-on-one here. It's Gassama up to the edge of the box, and Rangers just couldn't get support up to him in time, but Dessers was hauled completely to the ground. It's fair enough the referee, I think, allowed Gassama to go on, but at the other end that could have been the equaliser but for the challenge of Nasser Giga. 19 in, the Rangers 1, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
Three of those, didn't it, at the weekend, were a full-blooded blocks, Giga, and he had to do it again. Vidra was just about to pull the trigger, but again, yeah, the alarming signs down the wide areas. I can't really. Memic is the one that's sort of breaking this right side, and it was a brilliant ball in. That looked like for all the world it was going to be an equaliser, but superb defending. I still think that the boy should have been booked for his tackle on Dessers. It's good advantage.
I think he was.
What was a little bit alarming was there when you get Yefty driving forward, trying to pick Gassama out, and little Cameron, he's having a good game, but he's getting himself too advanced there. I think he's just got to recognise they've got the two guys there, just drop in a little bit, give a little bit more protection. You just get caught out there, we get away with it there.
Kenny McIntyre thinks it's not windy tonight. I think that's a reflection of his Mull upbringing, where this is probably just a light breeze. Anyway, the players coping with it pretty well so far. They've got the 1 goal advantage, 20 minutes in. Jiri Gassama, the difference between the two sides so far is Suter into the feet of Cameron, left hand side. Now Rothwell back to Suter once more, just inside the Plzeň half. Giga out to the right hand side to Aarons. Plzeň trying to close Rangers down quickly, but they've dealt with that press so far pretty well as Antman picks up and rolls it back to Giga. Giga into Rothwell, he stretches and gets it back to Giga, and then it's back to Rothwell again. And it's a bit better from Rangers so far, you'd have to say. Cameron's in for Gassama. Gassama at the byline. Can he find a teammate here? He tries to square it back. A shot comes in from Antman, it's cleared off the line. Rothwell picks up at the edge of the box, but he's well off target. Not sure if that was the keeper or in fact the defender who managed to just stick out a leg to deny Antman after he was picked out by Gassama. 21 in, Rangers so close to a second.
I think it's Jamelka at the back post, or certainly on the goal line, it's clearing it. Lyle Cameron, you're right there, is starting the game very, very well. That was a brilliant little pass again inside the fullback, and it's a good pick out this time from Gassama. And Antman coming in catches it really well, but it's top defending.
It's great play from the wide men because they're making the players mind up who's on the ball. They're making the run
exactly,
early.
Exactly.
He's on his bike, and he actually, it's like forcing Cameron to play it in there. But I tell you, it's that injection of pace as well, in the final third. That was clearly missing against Motherwell on Saturday night. So obviously something they've spoke about, and that little bit of pace, and certainly Antman and Gassama, they've got that in abundance.
I think having spoken about that, Derek, about the lack of pace, Antman certainly looks like he's a flying machine on that right hand side. I know he's predominantly left footed, it looks like, but a real injection of pace is superb news for Rangers.
Dessers almost selling Jefty's shot there with the square ball, but the Brazilian on his toes to get it back to Suter. Are we seeing the kind of reaction you'd have expected from the players so far this evening?
Absolutely. He's laid down the gauntlet. He's dropped important players in Tavernier, certainly Raskin, and the guys that have come in, certainly young Cameron. He's having an exceptional game at the moment. He's keeping it simple, but he's making runs forward. I think Nearly spoke about that, in terms of it. Raskin, he's got that in his locker, but that's what he's doing at times. He's just taking off from the middle of the park and, making them think, as you can see just now there, it just creates a little bit of space for the other players round about him.
Rangers in possession, John Suter. We're just beyond the midway point in this first half. Rangers leading by Jiri Gassama, goal to nil as Suter fires it into Antman. Little flick looking for Dessers, doesn't quite get there, and Plzeň clear. Aaron should get there ahead of Durasin. He's still under pressure from him, and that has gone out of play over on the far side. It'll be a Plzeň throw in. 1-0 Rangers lead, but they've got a bit of defending to do here. Over on the far side, Plzeň waiting to take the throw in.
I don't want to curse it, but we've looked pretty secure, that break about 5 minutes ago, Memic's down that right hand side, but not gave up too many chances so far. Will may it continue.
Markovic was booked for that challenge that the guys were talking about on Dessers when he just hauled them to the ground. The advantage was played, but the referee booking him retrospectively. And Plzeň will have another throw-in over on the far side, and Durasin again will go across to the left to try and get this into the penalty area and try and cause some problems for the Rangers back line. Giga certainly looks like he's growing into the Rangers jersey. I felt like he was pretty tentative against Panathinaikos in both games, but he's had already a good block as the ball comes into the Rangers penalty area, and on the stretch John Souttar knocks it behind, but the assistant has now flagged, and it will be a free kick to Rangers just inside the 6-yard box. Russell Martin wants it played quickly, and Jack Butland obliged. He's just doing so short, and Rangers will try and advance down the right hand side. Aarons comes back into the edge of the box for Giga. Tries to turn away from Durasin. Matt looks like he's grown in confidence so far, and he gets the ball back down the right hand side from Aarons. Diamondi stretching to get it back to Giga, and then Rothwell for Souttar. There's two out here on the left hand side. Cameron and Gassama both want it. Jefti picks up instead. Now it's Cameron, but he's going to be forced back here by Cherv, and he goes back to his goalkeeper Jack Butland. He'll be closed down by Vidra. Takes a touch away from Vidra, Butland, and then plays it in looking for Diamondi. Dessers tries to slide to get there, but he doesn't get there ahead of Markovic, but it's bounced all the way behind for another Rangers goal kick. And again, Russell Martin, you can see him encouraging his players to immediately get the ball back into play, much like Ange Postecoglou did when he took over Celtic. You saw how quickly they took every single restart play, whether it be throw-in, goal kick, whatever.
I would find it quite hard to play, because you always want to play, through the middle. At times you can see Gazzama, Antman's on, I'd be inclined as a midfield player, just to get it to him as quick as.
Here's Rothwell into Gazzama, inside the penalty area, just took a poor touch. Initially looked to be caught in two minds. Puts enough pressure on the full-back, or the centre-back, who knocks it out of play. It will be a throw-in to Rangers deep in Pilsen territory. Left hand side to be taken by Jefti. 26 played. Rangers leading by Ajedi Gassama goal to nil as Cameron has it near the corner flag. Buys another throw in here. Pilsen have looked like a decent side, as you'd expect at this stage of European competition, but Rangers have kept them out and managed to get one of their own so far as Jefti throws it in looking for Gassama. It's headed high in the air by Markovic, helped on there by the teenager Janos. Down goes Duracime. He was caught there just outside his own penalty area, and it will be a free kick to Viktoria Plzeň, the visitors, and it'll be taken by Samson Dway, one of the players who started both legs against Hearts last season. The nucleus on that side still together. And it is Dway, the Liberian, who launches it up to the left hand side for Spatchil, but it's gone out of play off him, and Rangers will have the throw over on the far side to be taken by Max Aarons on loan from Bournemouth. Just waved back a touch by the referee. Interesting to see whether he can hold down that right back berth or whether it's a temporary measure, and James Tavernier will come back in. As Dessers back to Cameron, early ball out to this left hand side to Gassama, applauded by the fans, and Jefti makes the run outside of Gassama, plays the ball, and Jefti can't quite get there ahead of Memic, but it's behind for a Rangers corner. And already you guys have mentioned it already, but Jefti going down that left flank as a natural left-sided player makes such a difference.
Well, it's completely natural, because you've got a left winger, but it's predominantly right-footed, and Gassama there that wants to come inside. So the last thing you want is someone else going in the inside and no overlap. So Jefti will offer that. I tell you what though, Memic must be really quick, because Jefti can motor, and he made up a couple of yards on him there easily.
Joe Rothwell out on this left hand side to take the corner. Most of the Rangers set pieces, like the one they scored from on Saturday, have gone back post. Let's see what Rothwell produces here. In fact, it's a near post ball, which is well dealt with by Duracime. Comes out as far as Aarons, who's the last man back. He needs to be sure about this pass, and he gets out to Diamondi right hand side. He'll be closed down, and again Rangers a little bit open at the back, and they can't afford to turn over possession here. They've kept it at the moment, and it's Aarons, but he'll go all the way back to Jack Butland, taking no chances. 28.5 minutes played. Rangers leading by a goal to nil. You listen to Sports Sound here on BBC Radio Scotland with the live European action, which will continue with our coverage on Thursday night with both Hibs and Dundee United in action. As here's Aarons for Antman. Back to Giga on the halfway line. Viktoria Plzeň dropping very deep when Rangers bring the ball up to this kind of territory. Suter and Giga exchange passes, and now it's Jefty on the left hand side, moves away from Vidra and plays it into Gassama. Gassama spots Aarons in a bit of space, about 35 from goal, curls it into the area. Not a great ball, easily cleared, but Rothwell onto the second ball, and it's Jefty for Cameron. Cameron's got Gassama outside him when he tries to take the shot on himself, and it's blocked, but he gets the ricochet back, and it's Jefty for Suter. And Rangers have a better intensity for me about them this evening than in the 3 games prior, and I guess that's natural as the players get more and more used to what Russell Martin's asking them to do. Cameron out to the left hand side for Jefty. He goes back to Suter, into Cameron, who's had a terrific first start for Rangers so far, making the step up from Dundee, and as much as we've seen him play very impressively for Dundee, particularly last season, there's always the question about can he then step up once more and really make an impression at the top level, and certainly the signs so far are that he should be able to do that, Neil.
Yeah, I think Lyle Cameron is quite a special talent in terms of his ability. People maybe question him coming to Rangers whether he can make the same stamp on this side, but people asked that question when Luke McCowan left Dundee. Could Lyle Cameron be the one that then takes on the mantle? And he absolutely became that man.
Diamonde's overdone it, and he's lost possession here to Janos, and Janos looks for Vidra in the middle, and luckily for Rangers he overcooks that.
Why is Jefty not getting in though, Derek? I'm looking thinking.
That's you looked to me, I've looked at you there. I'm thinking as soon as they wins possession, Jefty's got to get round on the cover.
It was one of his biggest faults, and we used to get on at him all the time. He needs to tuck in, identify danger when the ball's on the other side. Had that ball had half a yard off it, Vidra could have taken a touch and just rolled it into the net.
It's quite amazing because Rangers lose possession, and that should be instinctive. Get in there on the cover, and he's caught in his heels here, and that could cost you.
Slightly bizarre scenario here where I'm fairly sure Nico Raskan, the substitute, has been booked. I'm not sure if he tried to impede the throw and been taken quickly, but now a free kick has actually been awarded to Viktoria Plzeň in a very decent area, actually, about a yard in, if that, from the right hand side, midway inside the Rangers half, and Raskan into the referee's book when he's not even playing. The free kick comes off the back of Gassama. It's only half cleared though, and it's Janos with an opportunity. He tried to curl it to the far corner, but he got it all wrong. Unfortunately for Rangers, nothing comes of that free kick, because that would have been altogether bizarre if that had led to a goal. But as it happens, Raskan and Rangers get away with it, and so with 31 minutes on the clock, it's still Rangers 1, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
Aarons just looks so untidy at times on the ball, doesn't he? Even tonight, going to his favoured right side, he just looks, I don't know, really unassured.
I lack of concentration.
Yeah.
He's had decent moments, but he's just had a wee spell there, just a couple of minutes, but that couple of minutes can absolutely cost you big time. And Jefty as well, that was quite alarming. Lose possession of the ball and you're thinking automatically, a full-back get round on the cover, and he's caught in his heel. We go again.
Yeah, it's out on the right hand side, and it's Memic. Jefty getting slow to close him down, and Suter cuts out the cross that was aimed at Vidra, and if it had been maybe 6 inches higher, Suter might have been struggling and Vidra might have been in for an equaliser, and Rangers have a corner kick to defend as it is. 32 and a half played, leading by a goal to 0, but Viktoria Plzeň by no stretch of the imagination out of this game at the moment. They are posing an attacking threat, and Rangers at times open at the back, can be exposed in the wide areas as the corner kick comes in from the right hand side, dealt with by Jefty. Only half cleared though, and it comes back out to the right hand side to Ladra on for Janos. Jefty just let Ladra run off him, and then the ball comes off Gassama, who'd gone back there to do a bit of covering, and it's another corner to Viktoria Plzeň. 12 minutes until the interval, Rangers leading by a goal to 0. Another corner to defend here. Everyone back inside the penalty area for Rangers as Ladra prepares to send this corner in, right hand side, left footed, and it comes towards the near post. It's not a great delivery, but it causes a few problems. Suter goes and meets the second ball, comes to the edge of the box. Plzeň trying to get the shot off, eventually they work it out to the right hand side for Janos. Janosch on the left foot once more, trying to get the better of Jefty. Stands up to the back post. It's won by a Pilsen head. Comes back in for Vidra. Jefty scrambles it clear only to the edge of the box. Comes in on the volley. It's a poor effort really from Cherv, who's got better ability than that from 25 yards. Wider the target. 34 played. Rangers 1, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
Just looked a little bit unsure of themselves. Rangers last couple of minutes conceding a couple of set pieces in terms of corner kicks, so they've dealt with it pretty well, but just a little bit of nerves, isn't it, that creeps in when the team Plzeň get that possession of the ball, probing round about the box.
And here's Memic picking up on another bit of loose play from Rangers. Giga with the header clear from the cross. Cameron tries to help it on, but Rangers struggling to get out of their own territory just at the moment. Again, the loose ball is picked up by the opposition. Russell Martin barking orders from the edge of his technical area, but it's Plzeň coming forward looking for an equaliser, but Ladra won't latch on to the return pass from Janosch, and it's out for a goal kick, and Rangers have a little bit of a breather, albeit Russell Martin will win the goal kick taken quickly. But 10 to play in this first half. Rangers leading by a goal to nil, but Viktoria Plzeň, Neil, certainly threatening at times.
I think they're growing into the match, Alistair. They're getting a wee bit higher up in positions. They're getting more bodies staggered around the 18-yard box of Rangers, forcing Rangers into defensive positions. But that's something that I've noticed has let them down. The final ball, the final decision making has been a little bit off tonight.
Giga in possession for Rangers, bringing it up towards the edge of the centre circle, plays it back in field to John Suter. Suter into the feet of Cyril Dessers, who's just backing into his man, and then plays it into Diamondi. Diamondi out to Antman inside the penalty area. Can he get the shot off here on the left foot? Comes back to Diamondi. Rangers maybe just overplaying there, but it's Aarons inside the box. He goes for goal, takes a big deflection and out for a corner kick, but I just feel like the shot could have been taken earlier on, and Rangers might have had a second goal. As it is, they will have a corner. 10 to play in this first period. 1-0 the lead.
That's good play from Rangers. The ball from Suter fizzed into Dessers. Great hold up play, just feeding it into Diamondi and then just finding Antman, and that little change of pace that he's got, and eventually the ball breaks to Aarons and shots deflected. But Rangers needed this because they were just that last 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes, just under a little bit of pressure, so they've got an opportunity for the corner kick away over on the right hand side,
to be taken by Joe Rothwell, right footed. Plenty of Rangers bodies in and around that area. There's a Viktoria Plzeň player though hit the deck, and the referee blows his whistle to halt it.
Vidra
proceedings is Vidra. It's gone down. The captain, not sure quite what happened. The referee doesn't seem too perturbed, but he certainly is going to allow Vidra to get back to his feet as Giga and Suter just help him up, but there's just a little word in the ear of Giga there from the referee. It's the usual tussling you see in the penalty area these days. Rothwell preparing then to take the corner kick from the right hand side. What can Rangers make of this as they look for a second goal in the first period? Rothwell right footed, preparing this one. Swings it out the way. Vidra meets it at the near post, and Diamondi will go and try and retrieve it and get it back out to Rothwell. Rothwell right hand side, swings it in again. That's a good ball, it's just over Giga, and a good clearing header. Dessers will go and try and ensure that it goes out for a Rangers throw in, which he does, and he takes that one himself back to Lyle Cameron. Little midfielder just plays it square to Aarons, now back to Giga in the centre circle. Shot to Suter. Suter back to Aarons, right hand side of the centre circle, allowed to advance. Antman's out holding his width, but it's Diamondi instead. Back in field to Suter, just at the edge of the centre circle inside Plzeň territory. It's Diamondi once more, out to Antman, comes back in field. Rothwell offers himself. Here's Rothwell midway inside Plzeň territory. He's closed down quickly by Janosch, but gets the pass off to Giga and then plays the 1-2 with him and plays it into Cameron, who's fouled by Douay, who's come forward from centre back to try and win possession, but gives away the free kick, which is quickly taken. It's Rothwell in possession, plays it square to Suter. 7 minutes left of this first period. Out to the left hand side for the goal scorer Gassama. Back in field it goes to Jefty. Jefty about 30 yards from goal, is giving it straight to Durosinma, tries to win it back, does well actually. Still Jefty's going, he was pulled there, referee didn't spot it. or didn't feel like there was enough in it, at least, as Suter wins the header. Dessers will go and try and cause a problem here. Could be in behind. Forced out to the right hand side and knocked away by Jamelka before he could get the shot off. But he's causing problems more than Danilo's caused in the 3 games that he's started recently. Dessers looking to try and ensure that he's first choice striker for Rangers, as Antman picks up right hand side, back with Aarons, and now it's Diamondi right hand side, thought about swinging the ball in, instead he goes back to Giga, plays it into Jefty, who's come into a central area, back to Suter again. Rangers very high up the park, last man Suter, and he's well inside Viktoria Plzeň half, but they got out on the right hand side, back now to the halfway line with Giga. Rangers leading by a goal to 0. Giga comes forward and then goes back to Suter, and now to the left hand side for Jefty. Cameron's on the left flank, he goes back to Suter. Plzeň just looking to absorb Rangers pressure just at the moment, not looking to press them, as Antman picks up on the right hand side, comes in field and then flicks it between his legs for Aarons, right hand side and midway inside the Czechs half. Now Rothwell flicks out to the left hand side, might just have overhit that pass, but Gassama does him a favour and manages to retrieve it and bring it back in field for Rothwell. Again, slightly off of the pass, it was neither to Aarons nor Giga, but Aarons does pick up eventually. Giga now for Suter. Suter into the feet of Diamondi, who wants it back from Giga. Giga takes it on himself though, advances and then tries to play it infield to Rothwell. He's loose with the pass, and Viktoria Plzeň now can come forward on the counter. Suter will just step in though, knock that back to Jack Butland. But still, the passing, the intricate passing that Rangers are trying, it's coming off at times but not others.
Expected a little bit more tenacity there from Rothwell. It was a 50-50, it was there to be won. I just thought he kind of shirked it a little bit, you know, and it's so important you win those little duels, because they could have broke on us there, but you know, he's a midfielder, central midfielder, got to show a little bit more aggression in there.
Jefty just overruns it, and then he's clipped Cher when he's going to go into the book there, the Brazilian, for catching the midfielder. And there's just a lack of awareness there from Jefty that Cher was coming across in the cover, and as he nicked the ball off the Brazilian fullback, he caught him and he goes down for the free kick, and indeed the yellow card shown to the fullback.
Yeah, big heavy touch from Jefty. He's probably a bit rusty. Aarons is bossed that left back position, and he gets caught out there. He caught out in the middle of the park as well, playing a square pass. But these short passes tonight have been so many and so frequent that they're just trying to encourage that bite. But as we've seen already, it's such a risky game, because if you get them wrong, you're so wide open to counter-attacks.
Ball's over Giga's head from the free kick up towards Spatchil on the left hand side, and it's swung into the box. This time Giga wins the header. Diamondi can't pick it up on the edge of the box though, and it's come out to the right hand side. Memic picks up, it's closed down by Gassama. In support though is Ladra leaves it back to Memic. Again Gassama trying to close him down, but the ball's found its way through to Janosch. Jefty just needs to be careful. He was sent off at this stage against Dynamo Kiev last season on a second yellow, and picked up by Cher. The ball's just behind his teammate Vidra there, and it's nicked by Antman, who feeds it to his fellow winger Gassama. Gassama plays it back into Antman. Antman bursted into the penalty area. Antman with the opportunity, goes down under the challenge of Vidra. Big claims, penalty kick to Rangers. Antman fouled by Vidra. The Rangers will have a penalty with 2.5 minutes of the 45 to play.
I was just about to say, nearly, what do you think of Ant-Man? Because I've been so impressed in terms of the way he's took care of the ball, but that was brilliant play, picking the ball up, you know, deep in his own half, a lovely pass, doesn't stand and admire it, he gets himself forward, and then he breaks the lines, he goes through. I looked at nearly right away, it looks soft, but we'll take it.
It'll be checked.
I thought he was a bit slow in getting his shot away, and I felt that the defender recovered quickly, but does he get any of the ball?
The defender being the striker, Mate Vidra, who was the man back there trying
Vidra, yeah. Well,
yeah.
But what is really, really refreshing to see was his directness.
He was yards.
And by the way, all night Russell Martin's been telling him to stay wide. This time he finds himself inside the pitch, and that explosive pace, his directness just completely blew Plzeň apart there.
Well, The VAR.
He reminded me of an ex-Rangers player. Played, he was a winger.
Lovencrantz.
No, big Laudrup. He used to, sometimes drop into certain positions and drive forward.
You're going a bit early with that.
You went high there, Derek.
But he's been so impressive. I can't remember him giving the ball away.
By the way, here's a collector's item for you. If there's a penalty, Cyril Dessers taking one.
Yeah, well, James Tavernier's on the bench, of course. So Dessers will step up.
Has he taken one? I'm not sure.
I think he has, yeah. I think he has taken one, maybe, last season. I'm trying to remember the game. I'm fairly sure I've seen him take a penalty. Anyway, he's not the regular penalty taker, but he's an opportunity here. It looks like the penalty has been verified by the VAR, and so it'll be Cyril Dessers to try and put Rangers 2 in front in the final minute of the 45. Florian Vigla, 6'8", pushing the crossbar. He's barely having to stretch to touch the crossbar. The referee's telling him you're not allowed to do that, to touch the crossbar, as he bounces in his line. Cyril Dessers then steps up on the right foot. Dessers scores! 2-0 Rangers from the spot. Cool as you like. Cyril Dessers gets his first goal of the season and gives Rangers a 2-goal advantage. Rangers 2, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
Nice penalty, not the regular taker, of course. He's sitting on the bench, but he just wraps his foot around it. Doesn't matter if you're 6'8" or not, you're not saving that one. Right into the side netting. A brilliant penalty by Big Cyril Dessers.
Yeah, arguably it's more difficult to save it when you're 6'8", the way he put it into that bottom corner. Yeah, terrific penalty, and Rangers, as we move into first half stoppage time, open up a 2-goal advantage, and that can make such a difference, Derek Ferguson.
Yeah, and I will concede I might have went a bit early with the Laudrup comparison, but I just love the fact that he picks the ball up in a deep area. It's a wonderful pass, a weighted pass, but he doesn't stand, he just drives forward and picks up, and and I thought, nearly saying, maybe a little bit slow to get the shot off, but he sprinted the fully 75 yards, and listen, the most important thing is Big Dessers, when he got his opportunity, the keeper done everything to put him off, but just kept calm, drove it to the keeper's right hand side. So what a time to get a goal as well.
2-0 then. 2 minutes of stoppage time are shown, might have a little bit more than that as a result of the penalty being taken, but Rangers in a really good position as we approach half time. Can Viktoria Plzeň respond at all before the break? Out on the right hand side as they come forward through Mehmet's, the Bosnian right wing back, picks up once more, sends a decent looking ball in towards the back post. Aaron's taking no chances, and it goes out over on the far side. I think it's gone out for a corner. It's right at the corner flag, and Rangers then, well, it's a good time to get a goal. This would be a poor time to concede one as well, having just gone 2-0 up, but they'll be looking to stand firm to take that 2-goal advantage in at the break. 2 minutes of injury time have been played. We will certainly get this corner kick from the Plzeň left. He swung in right-footed to the near post. Well watched by Jefty, gets it well clear, out for the throw-in, and that is half-time, and Rangers take a commanding lead in at the interval with what feels to me like their best 45 of the season so far. Yes, they gave up a few chances, a few openings to the visitors, but crucially they got the 2 goals. The first one came on 15 minutes, Gassama 1-2 with Cyril Dessers, and Gassama, the winger, slotted it in to put Rangers 1 up. At the other end, Giga made an important block on Vidra, and then Antman had one cleared on his debut off the line by Jamelka, and then just before the break Antman played the 1-2 this time with Gassama, broke upfield into the box. As he was poised to shoot, he was fouled by Vidra, penalty awarded, and up stepped Cyril Dessers, who slotted it home into the bottom corner to make the half-time scoreline in the Champions League third qualifying round first leg. Rangers 2, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
Rangers in the UEFA Champions League qualifiers.
Live on Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Yeah, Rangers in total control of this game here at Ibrox this evening, and what a penalty that was right in the stroke of half-time from Cyril Dessers. He was made to wait, but he sent the keeper the wrong way. A really powerful finish from him there. It's interesting watching Russell Martin down in the touchline below us here. He's all action, constantly waving his side forward, and they had a couple of half chances, the away team here, but Rangers have been very, very good. Derek Ferguson, we spoke before the game about the gamble, if you like, that the manager took at the weekend in calling out his players publicly, and the gamble he took tonight in terms of his team selection. So far it's going very well for him.
Yeah, it was brave, certainly a brave decision, and yeah, it's probably, I was absolutely spot on. It's probably their best performance, and the result at the moment. I think Antman, who's come in, very impressed with him. Not just his part that he played in the goal, but he's very direct. He's lightning quick as well. You can see that. And young Cameron as well is not stopped. Always on the move, pass, move. He's up in attack. He's back defending. Very rarely, I don't think he maybe gave the ball away once. So it's a big night for him. But he's produced. And it's probably the least mistakes that Rangers have made. It's still kind of heart and mouth moments at times, when they play those balls very narrow down the middle. I love to, when I played, I love to get the ball to the wide players, guys that can make a difference. So I think there was one Cameron played, it was a lovely little ball, just showed the eye, just whipped it into a wide area. But it's the way the manager wants to play, and you can't argue with it at the moment. It's been very impressive.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, Neil McCann. Let's pick out a few of these players. We touched on Lyle Cameron before the game. I spoke with him yesterday, a really decent young man. Spoke with Tony Docherty today, what that character he was. He felt he had no doubts at all he was ready for this step up, and he's done really well in that first half.
Well, I think he's taken instruction on really well, Kenny. Disciplined, sitting on that left side of the midfield. Diamande playing the right, and Rothwell's sitting. And he's been really disciplined. We spoke about Raskin when he's playing there, how many times we see him in the fullback area. I'm not seeing Lyle Cameron all that often in that type of position. Jeffy seems to be a wee bit more disciplined, sitting, springing when Gassama gets the ball to go round on the overlap. So in terms of Lyle's awareness and what maybe Russell Martin's looking for, looks like it's been spot on tonight. He's made runs into the box, he's been busy, he's been good. I had Lyle Cameron when he was 15 at Dundee. Both him, Josh Mulligan, and the wee boy Max Anderson and Finlay Robertson, who's playing at Dundee as well. The four of them were training with my first team when they were 15 years old, and he was, believe it or not, he was much smaller than he is now. Incredible, he was tiny. But the one thing that stood out about Lyle Cameron when he came into that environment training with my first team, I'm telling you, Fergie, he was like the old Stanley Matthews shots. The shots were past his knees. You didn't know whether his socks started or his shorts ended. And what was screaming out right away when he was playing in the reserve games that we had at the time, but training with my first team, was he was so brave in coming and taking the ball. It didn't matter about his diminutive stature, he went and took the ball. And then he's just grown into this very influential player for Dundee after, as I said, Luke McCowan. And he's come in here and he's such a brilliant start to his Rangers career in his first start tonight. I agree with Fergie. Ant-Man has added a real different dimension, I think, was missing for Rangers.
Can you talk to me then, Neil, about the two wingers, what they both bring to this side?
Well, Gassama for me is more what we get from a modern day winger. He's a predominantly right footed player, getting it wide, coming inside, looking to get shots off a bouncing 1-2s. Ant-Man looks like a wee bit of a throwback in terms of, looks like he can do it, but that first run, what said to me, yeah, I like this guy, because beating a defender without even touching the ball is brilliant, because what you do with that first run in behind and somebody slips you give the message to the fullback, you better not go tight with me because I'm just going to run you. So what I'll do is I'll say, right, I'll sit off you, then you can get it to feet, you can mix your game up. Too many wingers don't mix their game up, they're one trick ponies, and the two guys on each side, it helps when Gassama scores, because what's that, 3 now he's got for Rangers, so his confidence will be elevated. Ant-Man wins the penalty tonight, so right away guys in the final third are making meaningful contributions to the match, so that's really positive. But the introduction of pace was imperative for me for Rangers, because too many times we saw against Motherwell it was predictive, it was It was pretty safe. It was round about the houses, and Motherwell were winning it, breaking the midfield and getting attacks. Tonight's been so solid. I agree with Derek. I think and Al, this has probably been their best performance.
And let's not forget, excuse me, Deser's come into the side. You know, he's pretty disciplined because for there is long periods of time in terms of the way Rangers play that he's not going to get on the ball. So that's a hard thing in itself. But he played his part in Gazama's goal because the ball's fizzed in there. It's people think that's easy, you know, but in those areas, that little weight of pass, just guiding it into Gazama's path, just so he can curl it into the back of the net. He's been very impressive, and of course the penalty, you know, obviously the keeper tried to put him off, but I've been impressed with Desers as well tonight. There's a lot.
Fergie, without question, Rangers are a better side with him in it.
Do you know something? I was speaking to Alec Ray a couple of weeks ago, who worked under him, and he was raving about him. He says he's a brilliant guy. That's what I've heard for.
We're all the same opinion.
Yeah, there you go. That tells you everything.
Yeah, but 29 goals last season, and he's not the type of striker that's going to come. And we worked well, and we tried really hard about getting side on, backing in, securing possession and spinning, because he's a big powerful boy at running in behind, but he wants to do it first time, and sometimes it's not always on. Sometimes it's better to earn the space. But what you're saying tonight, Fergie, what he did there is get 12 yards to play that ball perfectly, because if he plays it too heavy, it runs out. If he plays it too short, it gets nicked. But what was the most impressive part for me is not outside that. It was the fact he came ball side. He didn't at times last season he would stay away, he would go far end of the box. But if you're going to play how Russell Martin wants to play, and maybe that's why he's chosen Danilo, because he's more likely to come and play to feet because he's not got the game in behind. But Cyril's identification to get across ball side allowed Gassama to play the 1-2, so that was great. Without question, as I said, I'm not to over-egg the pudding here, but Rangers are a different animal with that type of boy up top.
Is that down to you and Dodgy's coaching there?
But wee Dodgy, aye, but certainly not me.
But Derek, I was going to bring that point up, because I think the amount of times we've spoken about him up here, and the observations from Neil, from Billy, from yourself, we spoke a lot about Cyril Dessers. Was he receptive to the things you were trying to get him to do?
Well, there you go. And I love the fact when Barry got the job, and he kept referring to use his staff. I was kept going like, why do you not just say Nearly and Billy, you know, and Al, you know, but when they had the guys,
he was just shouting the dressing room, hey staff, get in here.
But you knew with these, because they know the game inside out, and you know that he'd been well coached with Dodgy, because there was nobody better than Dodgy in terms of his movement, and you know, so you can see that it's there for all to see. But it was really impressive. But I think it must be so hard when you're not involved in a lot of the build-up play, and that's why I'm using the word discipline, to keep your discipline. But when the opportunity was just to come off, takes the ball in, but for me it's that weight of pass. It's terrific, you know, and it allows Gassama just to curl it. You know, if the weight of pass, it's a little bit heavy, it's too short, you don't get the goal, you don't get that outcome. So fair play to Desers.
What about the character that he's got, Neil? Because again, it's something we spoke about, because there were times when the fans were on his back, and we know he misses a lot of chances, but as you said rightly, he scores an awful lot too. Yep. Well, how did he cope with the difficult times?
I always found him kind of thick-skinned boy. He was aware of the criticism, and we gave him some as well. You know, we're quite up front, like as a coaching team, you had to point out mistakes and what you're looking for and what he must do better. We were always encouraging him, as I said, to be in front when the ball's getting played through. Like, for example, you know that one I was talking about where the midfielders separate and the ball went into him? Do you remember? And he was behind the defender. We were always on him to say, right, start behind the defender, but as soon as the defender gets his head up, get that yard in front, get side on, protect it. And he did it. So he's receptive to what you're looking to do. In terms of his ability to shrug things off was brilliant. The one that springs to mind is Dundee. I'll put Dens. Where we go 3-1 down, and we just kept batting away. We got the goals back, Tom Warren scores, and then Big Cyril gets the winner, and he missed maybe 3 or 4 that night.
Yes.
And people were battering him, and you just know the big guy's not going to stop running, and you just have to keep on providing him with opportunities and chances. And that night I went over to him and I said to him I was so proud of him, because a lesser type of character might have just buckled and disappeared and thought, I'm not making that run anymore. But he continues to do it. He's been left on the fringes under Russell Martin, I think it was the right decision to bring him in tonight. And the one thing you'll not get from Cyril Dessers is some sort of huff or some sort of kind of throwing the towel in or not really trying. He'll continue to give you everything he's got. I met him at the weekend actually, and I said, how you doing? And he sort of shakes his head and gives you that big smile. And I says, I totally understand, because he wants to play.
Aye.
But look at his reaction tonight. He's pivotal to the opener, and I think he's led the line well tonight. Really well.
We've spoken a lot, Derek, about the positives. One thing you guys touched on in commentary, Max Aarons, it seems to be a bit of a struggle for him right now, Derek.
Yeah, I'm not totally convinced about him yet. But again, like anybody else, when you come to a club, certainly a big club like Rangers, it is going to take a bit of time to settle in. It just at times he does some good things, but then he goes through a little period, he makes 2 or 3 mistakes which can unnerve the rest of the side. So yeah, there's work to be done there. You can see there's a player there, of course. He's played at a good level, we can see that, but it's that, can you handle everything that goes with Rangers? And I think that's where Neely makes a great point, because when things aren't going well, can you handle that? Can you say, yeah, give me I'm willing to take the ball in? So what I'm seeing is he's not hiding, and that's so important, by the way, because we all make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes, but I don't see him hiding. But he's just got to tidy up a little bit, take care of it. I don't know whether that's a concentration thing or not. It's something that the manager, the coaching staff, they'll know. And you get to know boys as well, while you're training with them. There just can be moments to just switch off, and I think that's what's happened a few times with him tonight.
Well, Rangers in complete control here. They lead Viktoria Plzeň by 2-0. Full second half commentary to come right here on BBC Radio Scotland.
This August, Edinburgh transforms into the world's biggest stage.
The whole city's a showstopper, so where do you begin?
Right here with BBC Radio Scotland, your guide to the Edinburgh Festivals.
Join Lane Penny and me, Michelle McManus, for music, comedy, theatre, the arts and more.
All the highlights from across the capital.
And if you're lucky enough to get a ticket...
Oh no, that sellout show was 2-for-1 offer.
No ticket, no problem. Just turn on your radio.
Whether you're in the city or listening around the country, we've got you covered.
Afternoons and the Arts Mix at the Edinburgh Festivals.
Woo! Coverage continues this afternoon on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
You're listening to Sportsland live from Ibrox this evening. The team's just coming back out. Neil McCann, do you think there's an opportunity here for Rangers tonight to basically kill off this tie?
I'm glad you kept talking there. There's an opportunity to get that pie I was eating.
I just turned and saw you eating this. I tried to be slow there. Apologies.
Sorry, we can repeat that, Kenny.
Do you think there's an opportunity for Rangers to effectively kill this tie off tonight?
Of course there will be. It just depends how much risk Plzeň want to take. I can imagine them just taking a little bit more risk and try to get more support to Vidra. If they do that, then yes, I think Rangers could almost kill the tie. I've seen enough in Plzeň to have an element of respect and a wee bit of I don't know, just no worries the wrong word, but just give them a wee bit of respect that they're not out of it and not lose your concentration. But if Ant-Man continues on the side to show the type of pace, and then he'll stretch them. He'll really stretch them. Russell can afford now to make changes, Kenny, and freshen it up. He's got boys on the bench that he can really inject some into the game.
Derek, just a look down there. See the Plzeň manager, Derek. Does he remind you of anyone?
It obviously reminds you of somebody. You should have came to me earlier.
Aberdeen and Sportsound legend, Mr. Miller.
You think so?
Oh, you're not having that.
Wally's far better looking at. Wally Miller's
he looks like Colin is sitting working.
Wally Miller's a fine man.
Of course he's a brilliant man, right? Second half commentary.
He's nothing like Wally Miller. And you're saying it's no windy. Are you okay? Are you okay tonight?
I had a long holiday. I've just started back. Give me time. Right, let's get to second half commentary. Back to Hal.
Thanks, Kenny. 73-year-old Matej Kubek. I'm not sure. Maybe we're just not as used to seeing Willie Miller from behind as Kenny is. Anyway, Rangers looking to try and make an early impact in this second period. Ball's launched over the halfway line though by the Czechs, who have brought Mati Valenta on at half-time into the midfield. There's clearly Mr. Kubek not entirely happy with the way the first half has gone, but as Neil's saying, they cannot be discounted. They certainly posed a threat at times, but Rangers' clean sheet remains intact, and Pilsen have got a free kick just outside the centre circle, a couple of yards further into the Rangers half, and it's clipped into the Rangers area. Giga, it's not a really convincing header, I have to say, out to the left hand side of the box. Vidra helps it back in, half cleared by Antman with the chest, and then poked on by Rothwell. Antman will pick up on the loose ball, knocks it out to the left hand side. Dessers tries to bring it under control, sliding challenge comes in there, and Ladra knocks it out of play. No changes for Rangers in that half-time period, but certainly, again, as Neil was pointing out, options on the bench should Russell Mark choose to use them at some stage. What I will tell you is, maybe it's only temporary, but Max Aarons and Jefte are playing on the opposite sides, which is...
I don't know if that's just the reset from the free kick.
Maybe,
I would imagine it would be.
It looks like it is. Yeah, they're swapping back now. I know he's tended to like them to invert in the modern manner, but I thought that was maybe taking it a little bit far by swapping them sides, and indeed they've gone back to what you would say are their natural positions. Suter just manages to get that back to Butland before Durosimne is able to close him down. This risky football that Rangers are playing at times is going to have fans' hearts and mouths. Again, Suter plays the ball round the corner to Rothwell, and he almost gets caught. It's Dway who's pressing Rangers away up the park, the centre half. He's going to have to get himself back in position now as Giga picks up and comes forward. Into the centre circle he goes and plays it out to the left hand side. Cameron has to slide to keep that in play, but he does so well, and the Rangers fans already warming to Lyle Cameron. They love his endeavour as well as his technical ability, as Aaron does come in field into that central role. Rothwell gets the pass off to Diamondi. He's closed down though on this left hand side by the left wing back, and it's given away, and Antman almost squeezed that through to Diamondi. Picked up again by the Finnish winger, does well once more, and he's another one who's quickly earned himself a place in the hearts of the Rangers fans. Involved in the second goal, winning the penalty that Cyril Dessers converted. We've played 3 minutes to this second period, and Rangers looking to move through the gears here as Cameron plays it into the feet of Dessers, spins, gets the pass off to Diamondi, tries to curl it off the bar, so unlucky, comes to Gassama inside the box, can't get the shot off, Jefte hits it, and that comes off the way where the offside flag is up, but so unlucky there. How Diamondi to a third Rangers goal.
Oh, beautiful little effort, isn't it? He just, when it comes to Cyril Dessers, he takes a great touch. He looks like he's maybe going to get a shot off himself, but as he rolls it, Diamandi just takes a touch and just shapes it, just feathered one towards the top corner, a couple of inches away from finding that top corner and putting Rangers into easy street.
Spatchel almost gives the ball away to Diamondi, and Diamondi quickly onto him once more as he tried to tidy up, managed to get it forwards, and Durosimne manages to find Spatchel once more. Antman working hard to try and win it back, and he's been given the ball on that occasion by Cherv, who a couple of times usually renowned for his composed play in the middle, but he's given it away perhaps more than you might expect, as Rothwell is opposite number 6. Plays out to Suter, and then for Jefte he goes back to Butland once more. Almost 5 minutes the second half played. Derek Ferguson, your early second half thoughts?
Well, impressed with Rangers without the ball. They're winning it back very quickly, showing a real intent to win that ball back. That was a brilliant play, the one that Diamandi hits the bar, Cameron into Dessers, good movement, good touch.
Here's Antman on the run at the byline, couple of Rangers players in the middle. It's 3-0! Russell Martin punches the air as Jenny Gassama once again converts for Rangers. A lightning attack down that right hand side. Antman made the run, picked out out by Aarons with a beautiful ball, and the first time delivery to the back post, headed in by Gassama. Rangers 3, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
That's magnificent. You're asking me there, would you? I think the Rangers 5 minutes into this half, and I was just about to say they've been excellent without the ball, but that break was superb. Ant-Man on his bike down the right hand side, he has got real quality. When he gets there, the cross, it's first class, and it's Gasman, he's not standing back, he's on the move, he's getting himself right in there, and he can't miss. It's just brilliant play. It's the speed of play, but the quality.
But again, Ant-Man just taking off. That's the second time that he's just ripped into the space behind the grass, behind the defender, and the ball's played to him. You don't have to keep getting it to feet. Now that wing back's got a right problem, because if he gets too tight with him, he spins. If he stands off him, he gets it to feet and he runs him, because he's got pace, he's got two good feet. But Derek, once you get to those wide positions, it's half your battle. What you do with it next is where you're judged, and his ball is absolutely exceptional. It just stood up towards that 6-yard box, and it's a really beautiful little cushioned header.
And the brilliant thing is Gassama, he's on the move. He's on there. He's getting himself across. But the cross it's sensational, because he is moving at some pace. You would admire that anyway. That's what you were all about.
But I spent a wee bit of time with the wide boys just crossing it, and it's areas you hit in certain places. So close to the byline, your stand-up is just towards the 6-yard box and level the post, and it's exactly where he popped it. Had nothing to do with him, by the way, doing that. I was just saying I liked it.
Not taking credit for that one as well, are you? But I think also important to, there's Aarons on the ball, and it was his ball forward. He picked the pass out, he measured it perfectly, and that should help his confidence as well, Max Aarons. As Jefty comes forward down the left hand side, puts the early ball in, too much on it for Dessers, but it's poked out of play by Spaccio before Atman can get onto it. Made the point to you at half time as well, Neil, that Aarons only played 9 games of football last season, and perhaps there's a little bit of rustiness involved in the fact that we've seen him maybe lack some composure at times so far, but he was involved in that third Rangers goal. As they come forward once more down the right hand side, it's cleared by Plzeň backline. They can't afford to lose another. It's already looking tough for them if they don't get anything back. They did win 3-1 away from home against Servette after losing the home leg 1-0, but they have been second best, you'd have to say, as Rangers have begun to look like the kind of side that you imagine Russell Martin is trying to forge here, and the fans recognising that here as Giga is put under pressure but plays it to Diamondi, who came so close to the third goal just a couple of minutes before Gassama notched his 4th goal in 4 games. What a find he is proven to be thus far, and it's his 4th goal in 3 European games. The winger who came in from Sheffield Wednesday, former PSG youth, and if he can fulfil some of the potential he clearly showed when he played alongside the likes of Messi and Mbappe on his debut, then he could be some player. Here come Plzeň looking for a goal and away back into the tie. It's out on the far side with Memic looking to get the ball in. He has done. Aarons gets the header away just before Durasinmi picks up. It comes to the edge of the box. The shot comes in, but Butland gets everything behind it as Ladra tried to test him from distance. But after 54 minutes, it's Rangers 3, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
Would that be his first save? Al?
More or less.
Butland called into action too many times tonight. That shows you how impressive Rangers have been, and they have got a real chance just to really put this game to bed, and maybe take 1 or 2 off, give them a little bit of a breather.
Here's Rodwell in the middle of the park, takes it from Antman and then tries to poke it forward, but he's given it away. And Rangers, as good as they've been in the opening 55 minutes, they can't afford to relax too much, to take their foot off the gas, because they're certainly not the finished article, and they'll still give up chances at times, you would imagine. So they're doing well, but it's far from job done, as Giga, who's beginning to really look a bit more assured, albeit he's overrun the ball there. Looked like he might have been fouled, but the referee saw nothing wrong with the challenge, as Aarons and Durasimni tussle. Breaks the way of Diamondi, who does well to win the possession here, as a couple of changes are going to come from the visitors, trying to change the flow of the game. But here they come forward down the left hand side right now with Spatchil into the middle of the park, and it's Cherv coming forward. Rangers looking to preserve the clean sheet as well to take to Plzeň next week. Ball comes into the box, half cleared by Giga, missed kick there and looked like a handball. The referee has let go, but then it's knocked out of play as well by Markovic, the centre back, and they really at the moment are looking a pretty untidy out for themselves, Viktoria Plzeň.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there with Spatchil. Hit all sorts of parts of his body there with one swipe, but he's got a real nightmare in his hands now. I'm watching him, his hands are on his knees because Ant-Man has just roasted him in behind, and he doesn't move well anyway, and I just don't think he looks like he wants to get isolated with him. Derek, if I'm Russell Martin, and I'm saying get the ball out to this guy and just let him go 1v1.
Absolutely, and that's where players need to identify.
Absolutely.
Identify that, know that, see that, you know, and keep giving him it. I'm just looking at Rothwell at the moment. Just a little word with Russell Martin. You know, I don't know if he's starting to fatigue a little bit. He just, to me, looks a little bit leggy. I was just looking at him, just trying to recover there, just struggling a little bit.
Oh, you've got Barron, you've got Raskin that can slot in there, no problem. So it's the time to do it. Freshen it up if you can.
A couple of changes then from the visitors as Tom Slonchik and Denis Wyszynski have come on for Matej Vidra and Thomas Ladra. Earlier on it was Iri Panos who made way for Matej Valenta. So 3 changes made by the visitors as Giga takes a chance at the back here and just pokes it to Suter before Cherv, who's just stepped a little bit further forward and taken the captain's armband in the absence of Vidra. He almost nicked it there, and Rangers persisting in trying to draw Viktoria Plzeň towards them, but it does involve taking some risky passes on. But they've got away with it thus far. 57.5 played, and it's Rangers 3, Viktoria Plzeň 0. A very satisfactory evening thus far. Can Rangers make it even better before the close of play? They certainly take 3-0, absolutely. If that was the final score at the 90 minutes, to take that to the Czech Republic next week would be a very pleasing scoreline as Antman picks up on his debut. He's been very good. Aaron's looking to take on the substitute Wyszynski, has to go back the way now, and he's tussled to the ground and he's claiming for a free kick. He's not going to get it, and forward come Viktoria Plzeň. It's Wyszynski inside the penalty area. Can they capitalise here? They tried to get the shot away again. It's Giga who stands firm. Antman picks up. It's Giga again. He's had a good game, growing on his performance against Motherwell, having looked a little bit shaky in the first 2 against Panathinaikos. But Aaron's running into trouble down this right hand side a moment ago. He's recovered and he's back in possession and just plays it short to Giga, midway inside his own half. 58.5 on the clock. You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland as Rangers continue their Champions League qualifying adventure. And Gassama looks to get on the end of the ball forward there down the left hand side, battling hard, but he's battled too hard for the referee's liking, and it's a free kick the way of Viktoria Plzeň for his challenge there on Amar Memic on the far side, and free kick will go Viktoria Plzeň's way. 59 on the clock. Rangers 3, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
Yeah, and Rangers, you know, looking pretty assured so far, but just they have their moments now. Aaron's again, we spoke about him at half time there, you know, just needs to, you know, get the ball away a little bit quicker, just inviting the challenge in, and you know, it was a fair challenge. He was looking to buy the foul, but the referee was having none of it, you know, and it just gives you another little worrying moment. So just those little mistakes, just got to try and eradicate them.
Free kick then to be taken by Florian Wiegler, who's been beaten on 3 occasions already in the opening hour. Rangers would love to add further to that damage if they possibly can, and hopefully from their point of view secure a playoff tie against either Bruges or Salzburg, which either of those would be a step up in quality, certainly, as Giga is fouled by the substitute there, Wyszynski. Rangers will have a free kick on the hour mark just outside their own penalty. They played short to Rothwell, back to Giga, and then back to Jack Butland, who's, as Derek points out, really just had one save to make, and that was a few moments ago. He got down pretty comfortably, looks for Dessers, just too much elevation on it, and picked up at the back there by Jamelka. Jamelka goes back to his goalkeeper. Dessers will go and hunt it down, but cleared first time by Vigla. Right on to Suter. Is too relaxed there, and Giga's got more defending to do. He does it well to see off Duro Simner, because Suter, rather than just head it forward, tried to just cushion the pass. But here comes Antman down the right hand side once more. Rangers threatening, just checks back this time rather than crossing first time into Diamandi. Diamandi tries to get the ball into the box. That's blocked out for a throw in this near side. Antman just trying to mix it up there, but it might have been better putting the ball in early. You can't criticise him too much on his Rangers debut. He's done plenty right. Here's Cameron sweeping it back post. Dessers wins the header, but it's just too high and off target. 61 played, Rangers 3, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
A brilliant ball in from Lyle Cameron there, just whipped towards the back post on Cyril Dessers. He's been so impressive. The wee man, I know he's on the left side, found himself in the right wing there, just whipped it in. I think he's enjoying himself.
Yeah, it looks like it, and these will be the kind of nights he would have signed for Rangers to play in, no doubt. As the goal kick is taken, Durasimni looking to challenge for it, but it breaks the way of Diamandi. Back to Aarons, and back in field midway inside his own half to Giga. Rothwell can turn here and try and play the ball forward. He's giving it away again, and like Derek says, it might be time for him to depart. Yeah, Russell Martin's just gone back, signal to his bench. I think that's exactly the word he's getting back in there.
It's just that little bit of sharpness that it just seems, you can see him fatiguing, getting tired, little signs of distress, and you can see he's giving it every look. He's just watch his reaction to this. He goes to shut down now. He's struggling to get back goal side, so you can see that. I think the manager sees that as well, so I think that will be a change. Yeah,
Spaccio trying to swing it in there, but he's got the cross all wrong, and it's behind for a goal kick. Yeah, but you wouldn't be surprised at all if Rothwell is replaced sometime soon, as Rangers prepare to take the goal kick. 62.5 played. They lead by 3-0.
And he needs a band. He keeps playing with his hair too much for my liking as well. He should have a hairdo like mine. Cut it right off. No, I just see him at times. It's kind of, he's playing with his hair. It's annoying me a little bit. I don't know why, but is that with the fatigue as well? He's gave a few balls away, so get a good haircut.
I'm not going to start getting involved in a hairdo.
I was waiting on you getting involved though.
It's a throw into Rangers on the halfway line, right hand side. Max Aarons to take this one. Rangers 3 goals to the good here at Ibrox, and a much more convincing performance this one than we've seen thus far. Diamandi in a tight area tries to squeeze it through to Aarons. He's pulled back there by Wyszynski, and it'll be a free kick to Rangers right in the halfway line. And I think we are going to see the introduction now of Nico Raskan. I wonder if that will mean he plays in that 6th position in place of Joe Rothwell. He gets a hug from his manager, a handshake to certainly underline that there is no hard feelings between player and manager, and Rothwell just beyond the hour mark makes way, and this should definitely inject even further energy into the Rangers performance. Nico Raskin coming on for the last half hour.
Yeah, and he gets to play his 6, which he so wants to do. But
that's what he wants to play, isn't it, Neil?
Well, that's the conversations he had with us, saying that he wants to play a 6. He plays there for Belgium, but we saw him as more as an 8, because it was spoken before the game about his energy. It's just a little bundle of dynamism at times, Nico, but he can play in that 6 as he's shown at international level. But he's got more to offer, but tonight it suits him down to the ground, because he's got Diamandi and Lyle Cameron in the advanced positions that can go and join up with a striker.
Suter clips that to Giga, whose first touch isn't what he would have wanted, but he recovers to play it back to Jack Butland. I'm not sure the pass from Suter was altogether what he desired either. Butland plays it into the feet of Raskan. Short ball to Giga. He's hunted down by another substitute who's just come on, Prince Adu, and he's come on for Durasimni just at the same time as Raskan came on for Rothwell. So change up front with Prince Adu coming on, and he will endeavour to try and reduce the arrears for his side in this game. They could a 2-goal deficit far easier to try and come back from within a 3-goal one. Claims for handball there by, I think, Cyril Dessers, as the ball was played back to the goalkeeper by the centre-back Markovic. It's out on the right-hand side. VAR will, of course, look at anything untoward as Raskan plays it to Aarons, right-hand side, coming back the way though to Giga. Giga for Suter inside the centre circle, and now Jefti starts to burst forward. Adu goes back with him, plays it to Cameron left-hand side back into Suter. Slonchich goes to try and close him down. Raskan though gets it to Aarons, and out to the right-hand side it's Antman. He skips away from the wing back and then plays it into Diamondi just at the angle of the box. Antman was caught off the ball. Play continues. Diamondi sends it just over the head of Cameron and half clear. Slonchik plays it back into a slightly dodgy area. Antman's back on his feet as Suter grapples with Adu and wins it well and finds Jefti. Wonder if there'll be any retrospective action there from the defender Jumelka, who seemed to catch Antman as Gassama goes to ground just on the edge of the box. A free kick left hand side and a free kick to Rangers in a really interesting position, this one. Left hand side of the penalty area. 66 minutes played here at Ibrox, and an opportunity perhaps to score a fourth goal.
Yeah, and again it started away over on this right hand side. Antman, he's been absolutely superb. You know, there's not much that he can't do. You know, he does everything, and he does everything really well. But yeah, as you say, they've got Gassama, you know, wins that free kick away over on the left hand side, just about a yard or two outside the box. So it's a difficult one, you know. Do you go with pace or you just clip it in there? Maybe they've got something they're working the training ground.
It's Cameron to take it. Sends it very, very deep, far too deep, and then that's a waste. It's over Raskan and Dessers, who were the targets there. Unfortunately for Rangers, that one doesn't come off. Clearly the handball claim that Dessers made earlier on has come to nothing, nor was there any further action taken on Jumelka for catching Antman. Anyway, Rangers lead by 3-0 as Dessers has a good, Suter has a good pull of Adu's jersey there. He gets away with it, and then Adu brings him to the deck just outside the centre circle, and it'll be a free kick to Rangers. We've played 3/4 of the game now. Rangers 3 goals up, Neil McCann, and I think if you'd offered them this scoreline at this stage of the match, they'd absolutely bitten your hand off, wouldn't they?
Yeah, ripped it off. I think they're in a very comfortable position within the tie. Just need to, as I said, just control the game now. Ask questions. If they're going to take risk, then you've got the speed to try and get that fourth goal. But right now, it is in the perfect position for Russell Martin just to kind of see out the match. We've got left 20 minutes or so. It's a long time to get.
It's well won by Cherv against Raskan. Raskan recovers though, but he's penalised by the referee, who feels that he took too much of the man, not enough of the ball there, as he tried to win possession back from Cherv. And it'll be a Pilsen free kick midway inside the Rangers half central area, but an opportunity to throw their taller players forward and try and retrieve the situation here with a 3-goal deficit they currently face. It's going to be Slonchik to take this free kick. As you see, a very central area, very slightly right of centre perhaps. But Pilsen got plenty of players forward as it's lifted in. Header one. Dessers is back there and he gets something on it. Half clear as far as Cherv. That's blocked by Dessers once more. Still the ball's not entirely clear. Diamondi picks up though, and now will try and play out Cameron. Less keen to stand in ceremony, just lifts it over the halfway line and gets Rangers up the park. But that was a little bit dicey just for a moment or two there as the shot came in from Cherv, but Dessers back to do some defensive duties and tidy up for Rangers as Slonchik picks up once more as we approach the 70-minute mark. 3-0 Rangers lead here at Ibrox against Viktoria Plzeň in this Champions League third round qualifier first leg. The return in the Czech Republic next Tuesday as again forward come Plzeň, but Raskan putting out the fire there. Lifts it forward. Dessers might just latch on to this. Dessers was almost away there, goes down. Antman's going to latch on to the loose ball. Play allowed to continue. It's Antman. Rangers have got 3 in the middle. Can Antman pick one out? Diamondi leaves it and it's tidied up by the Viktoria Plzeň defence, and they might be able to counter themselves when I'm not sure why Diamondi left that, clearly looking to dummy and play in a teammate, but look more likely he could have taken it on himself. Anyway, here come Plzeň themselves as Adu gets it back to Wyszynski on the left hand side of the box, closed down by 2, gets it out to the left hand side to Spatchil, back the way he goes to Jamelka lifts it to the back post. It's Raskin who gets it half clear. Again, Rangers not completely clearing the line. Slonchik in the edge of the box, curls one, but it's over the top. And the danger comes to a close, but Rangers could have really killed Viktoria Plzeň off there on the counter-attack. I wonder though, if you go back to the challenge in Cyril Dessers, whether the defender's lucky that the referee did allow play to continue, because there's even a shout potentially for denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity as far as he is away from goal.
Yeah, well, he's almost halfway line, so I take your point, but probably not a red card. But did he get a yellow or anything?
No, I don't think it was any.
A good advantage again. Ant-Man's actually ball inside to Diamondi was good. Diamondi's got full awareness that there's 2 jerseys behind him, and just that's why he dummied it. But there might have been a case to take that shot on himself.
He certainly had a man over as Aarons is taking out play there, and he gets the free kick about 15 yards inside his own half. Just looking down to see, and indeed there is going to be another change, at least one, in fact 2 for Rangers. That's Barron and Danilo, I think, who are going to get the last 18 plus minutes. In fact, Finlay Curtis also been waved back by Russell Martin.
Aarons is not comfortable. He's had a whack in the ankle, he's had one in the thigh now, and he just signs. You look at his body language as if he's looking for a way out at the moment. Look, I think he's had enough.
Yeah, he's waving to... Well, James Tavernier wasn't one of the players waved back, so... in fact, Russell Martin just said just hold on a second, because I think they might have to change their plans here. Curtis was going to come on along with Barron and Danilo, but you would have to imagine that Tavernier comes on if Aarons goes off. If he doesn't, then that's another headline.
I think he's getting ready now.
Dessers, who got the penalty to make it 2-0 just before the interval, makes way. And as Neil McCann has said on a number of occasions, Derek Ferguson, he does improve the Rangers side when he's in it.
Without a shadow of doubt. He's a real focal point, physical presence, running power, and an attitude to die for, because it'd be so easy for him to spit the dummy. Not big Cyril Dessers. He's earned that ovation that he's getting from the Rangers fans tonight. A good night's work.
Barron is going to replace Lyle Cameron, and it is indeed James Tavernier who comes on for Max Aarons. So a triple change there for Rangers. And as I say, Finlay Curtis was stripped and ready to come on, and he might yet, but not quite just now. One thing I was going to ask you, Neil, is it's slightly curious to me that all the wingers, I think I'm right in saying that Rangers have brought in, so we're talking Gassama, I'll add Curtis to that because he's right-footed, comes in off the left. Mikey Moore, I'm fairly sure, is the same, and then even Oliver Antman's right-footed. All the wingers that they've got in the squad now are right-footed, albeit Antman, as you were talking about, playing more as an out-and-out winger as opposed to like an inside forward or whatever.
Well, that tells you what way Russell maybe wants to play. Antman goes against that a wee bit because he's got the direct pace to go in behind. He's actually comfortable on his left. I actually thought he was a lefty, but he's so comfortable off both sides.
Chasing the ball there, but it's knocked out of play there by Markovic. Rangers lead by 3-0 with just over a quarter of an hour left in this game, plus any added on time, of which there'll be a few minutes at least, as the ball goes back to Butland. Suter closed down quickly but gets the pass off to Raskin, who dummies it, and then Diamondi picks up and finds Tavernier, who's clipped the ball out of play in the halfway line. The Czech manager Miroslav Kubek is happier with the way Cyber closing down there. Certainly will feel that if they can get out here with any further damage, there's still a glimmer of hope, but one goal back would change the perspective again, and then if they were to concede again, then surely a 4-goal deficit would be too much to ask of any side, even on their home territory. 3-0 as it stands is a pretty good lead. Most European sides would take that from a home leg to take away and try and get the job done, as Diamondi picks up from Tavernier in the middle of the park. Diamondi just overruns it. Oh, he's been given the free kick. Thought he was a little bit lucky there, but he does get the decision inside the centre circle. Rangers will have the free kick.
He does well, is because Tavernier absolutely wraps it into him, you know, and he's got two players round about him. It's just in positions like, you can see that that's the way the manager wants to play, you know, in field. For me, I'm rolling that ball to Ant-Man every day of the week. You know, he's just there, he's 15, 20 yards away, and he's so comfortable in possession when he's under pressure, Ant-Man. He's just got a bit of everything about his game. Been so impressive tonight.
Butland goes long. Conor Barron's not the ideal target man, and he doesn't win that in the air, unsurprisingly, as the ball goes back to Vigla, and he scoops it out to the right hand side, helped on by Dway, but Rangers pick up through Barron. Jefty is just a little bit soft in the challenge there, and he loses out to Dway, and it's knocked out of play by Suter over on the far side.
Look, I think Rangers just need to be careful here and keep the clean sheet, because they don't want to give this team a wee bit of air to breathe in the tie. I've been really disappointed in them. I thought they were going to offer a lot more tonight, so you can only imagine that next week's tie will throw up that they're better than what they've shown tonight. So to keep the clean sheet, Rangers, they're in a really comfortable position, and they need to concentrate to do that. If they give one up, then I think next week then might be a lot more difficult than what's posing tonight.
Rangers throw over on the far side, midway inside their own half, left hand side, 13 minutes to play, they lead by 3-0. It's Raskan going back into that left back position that Neil spoke about, picks up possession. Gassama was dragged to the ground, and he gets a free kick midway inside his own half before he could break forward and cause more problems for that Viktoria Plzeň back line. Already got 2 tonight, 4 for his nascent Rangers career in just 4 games, not even full games at that. As Suter gets the ball back from Raskan. Now it's Giga and Tavernier now, right hand side. Back to Suter it goes. Now back to Butland. Butland gets the ball out to the left hand side to Suter as Cherv slid in to try and intercept it, try to read the ball, but it's Rangers playing out from the back once more, and Gassama trying a little bit of trickery to free himself of his man, and he's done that really well away from Mehmet. So now Barron plays it into Tavernier. Tavernier into the feet now of Diamondi up towards the edge of the box. Diamondi asks Ant-Man to try and provide once more into the feet of Danilo. Can't get a clean shot away, it's half cleared as far as Raskan. Danilo could really do with a goal. I think it's 18 now without a goal, going back to the 2nd of January against Celtic last season when he last scored. It would do the world of good for his confidence if he could notch one sooner rather than later, as Diamondi gets the ball into Raskan midway inside the Czech half. Jefty now out to the left hand side to Gassama, back to Jefty once more. Raskan's available in field, about 15 yards inside the Plzeň half. Back it goes to Giga. Tavernier now looking for an option. Giga takes it square for Suter before he's closed down by Adu. You can already feel that, well, providing things don't change drastically before full time, Russell Martin's going to be effusive in his praise, as equally effusive as he was critical after the Motherwell game. They have been a different team tonight, and well, I guess you could say that his words, the way he approached that post-match interviews, have been justified, although Rangers again dicing with danger at the back, but Raskan emerges with possession and finds Gassama down the left hand side, plays it infield for Tavernier. I still feel that the challenge comes in from Adu, no foul given, and Cher finds Slonchik inside the penalty area, right hand side, lays it back. Tavernier sticks a foot in and gets it to Jefty, and now Raskan. And I do feel, Neil, that as much as, you know, clearly Russell Martin has asked his players to do this, but it's just so risky at times.
He's not going to change, and he won't make apologies for that. That's the way he plays. But how many passes have just almost looked as if they're going to get caught out? Rangers, I mean, Plzeň look as if they're trying to walk the ball into the net. They could have had shots off tonight, left, right and centre, and the scoreline might have been different. But my goodness, this side will give teams chances.
And ultimately, they're going to come up against better sides than
Exactly.
this, like domestically as well as in Europe.
Exactly.
So, well, it's going well tonight, you have to say. You have to give them credit, absolutely. And they played well with 10 minutes remaining. They're 3-0 up. But it's a brand of football that certainly cost Southampton their Premier League status, albeit you could also argue Southampton could have gone up and stuck 10 men behind the ball last season, and arguably the outcome would have been no better. Here come Rangers with Danilo for Diamondi, about 30 yards from goal. Antman holding his position out on the right hand side. Here he is, up against the wing back again. Low ball in, it's right into the gloves of the keeper in this occasion. 9 minutes to play, and it remains Rangers 3, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
They've been excellent tonight, haven't they? The Antman and Gassama, the two wide men, and you see them in full flow. That's absolutely brilliant to watch. You're right, the Rangers will give up chances. It's going to happen. I just look at it and I think, if I'm playing on a side that's got wide men like that, I'm getting it to them as quick as possible. But no, they want to play it in and around that 18-yard box. It's so risky at times, especially when you're so comfortable. Neil says about 5 minutes ago, why don't just see the game out? Keep the clean sheet, just building that confidence. But they'll continue to play this way. The manager's already, he's already said
into the Rangers area. Suter just thumps it into the stand over on the far side as Rangers look to see this out with a clean sheet. 3 goals up, 2 from Gassama, 1 from the penalty spot for Cyril Dessers. Has given Rangers a commanding lead, and one they will hope to take across to the Czech Republic in a week's time. Throw-ins taken short over on that far side, and picked up by Valenta. Back now, the Bosnian wing-back's a good shot and over the top from Jack Butland, as Memic really got a hold of the ball from fully 30 yards, maybe more. It was moving in the air and Butland took no chances. He just pushed it over the top, and with 7.5 minutes remaining, still Rangers 3, Plzeň 0. Corner kick to the Czechs. More defending then for Rangers to do here. Slonček from the left hand side, low ball into the near post, is just poked behind tamely by Valenta, and that's a disappointing end. But Jack Butland, really for the first time in the game, having to really earn his corn there.
Yeah, he's not really had much to do, but that one was straight down his throat as well. You fully expect Jack Butland to deal with that, which he did. But Memic looks okay for them. He's probably been one of the best performers of the night. Looks as if he's got a reasonable amount of quality. I think this team do possess better. They've just not shown it. I was just about to say that Big Jack was excellent in Panathinaikos, and he's come up with a good save there. It just keeps a clean sheet so far.
Here's Tavernier over the halfway line into the feet of Diamondi. Tavernier gets it back. It didn't actually come off Diamondi, it was a defender, but anyway, Tavernier progresses past one man into the feet there of Gassama on the hat-trick, saved by the goalkeeper. Low effort from the French winger, just denied by Vigla in the away goal, and Tavernier showing what he can do coming forward from the back. Gassama denied. 3-0 remains to Rangers.
That's Tavernier at his best, isn't it? A couple of give and goes there, going forward, picking out Gassama with the shot.
Here's Adu at the edge of the penalty area at the other end. There's a pass out here to the left hand side, unfortunately he couldn't make it. Adu's won the ball back well though, showing good strength. And here's Memic, and now Slonček right hand side. Ball comes off the back there of Barron, now scooped over the top from Valenta. Really poor effort from just inside the penalty area. And they haven't been without their chances tonight, it has to be said, Viktoria Plzeň, but like Panathinaikos before them, they simply haven't taken any of them, as Finlay Curtis prepares to come on for the final 5.5 minutes of this game, the man who opened the scoring against Panathinaikos. And he will come on for Oliver Antman, who gets an ovation from the home fans, and he looks like he will be one to watch this season, coming in from Go Ahead Eagles, and immediately playing a big role in an improved Rangers performance. 5 to play, Rangers 3, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
I think you're right about Panathinaikos. A little bit of a mirror image in terms of chances created, but no real quality.
I mean, to be fair, I think Rangers have been a little bit more solid defensively than they were in that game, less shaky, but they have nonetheless been open at times and might have been punished by more clinical sides. But as it is, Viktoria Plzeň haven't been able to find a goal, and they're 3 behind as Raskan, who, remember, was booked before he came on the field of play, and he's committed a foul there on Cher, but no second yellow fortunately for the Belgian. It'll be a free kick though for Rangers to defend, about 20 yards inside their own half. Taken short by Slončík. Valenta out to the left hand side to Wyszynski. Squeezes it through for Adu at the edge of the box. Good footwork from him, trying to get away from Raskan. Can't do that. Danilo was taken crudely there, and although Rangers threatened to go on the counter-attack, as Gassama's come out, I think, to the... I was going to say Gassama out to the right hand side, but again I think it's just momentary, and Curtis is actually just playing where Antman was. I think there was a yellow card shown to one of the Plzeň players there for that challenge on Danilo. I think Valenta, the one who's gone into the book there for the scissor challenge almost through the back of Danilo, as they prepare to make a final change here of the evening, and it will be the introduction of Mirkas Doski. He's replacing Spatchil, the left wing back. Rangers about 3 minutes plus stoppage time away from securing a very commanding lead to take to the second leg out in Plzeň in a week's time, and you'll be able to hear that live with us on Sports Sound as Rangers try to ensure they take their place in the playoff round against either Bruges or Salzburg.
Just lost a bit of control of the game, haven't they, getting into the latter stages, you know, just inviting Plzeň onto them, you know, and just conceding a few chances. You just got to be careful, because it's been a great night's work and you don't want to spoil it. I don't want to concede so late on. I don't know, maybe the changes, maybe that's their part of playing it, but they've just lost that little bit of rhythm that they had in the game.
There's a couple of foul throws that
this guy can't take a throw,
substitutes taken so far, but he's got away with them both. Adu though losing out to Giga, two very big physical men, and Giga getting the better of him as Rangers pick up possession midway inside their own half. Couple of minutes left of the 90. Plzeň added on time as Giga has the pass off to Suter and back to Butland, and certainly Rangers don't want to be giving away any further chances in this game and potentially losing a goal when they're in such a good position. Barron taking a chance and he's robbed there by Doué just outside the penalty. Doué tries to get it forward. There's a handball given, I think, at the edge of the box, and this is a chance for Viktoria Plzeň, and it's exactly what we've been talking about. Yes, it's how Russell Martin wants them to play, but surely there are times and times not to do it.
Just manage the game, you know. Again, they can't argue, because it's going to be ingrained in the players to keep playing that way. But I'm just thinking, you know, what is it, a minute and a half, a normal time, there will be added on time. You know, just manage the game out, see it out. You know, 3-0, that'd be a terrific result, but they're just giving up some opportunities for Plzeň. They've already, you know, Jack Butland for long periods hasn't been worked, but over the course of the last 10 minutes he's had to be lively.
So it's about 25, maybe slightly more away from goal. Slončík is over it. I think that's also the substitute Doski, who looks to be a left-footed player. Slončík with the right. Which will it be? It's going to be Slončík to curl one just over the top, and all in blue breathe a sigh of relief as we enter the final minute of the 90 with Rangers 3-goal lead intact. And we just await the fourth officials board to see how much longer we'll have to play. But as Derek says, Rangers just a little bit more disjointed in the closing stages of this game, but having built up a 3-goal advantage, they have put themselves in a good position to take across to the Czech Republic in a week's time. Butland launches the goal kick over the halfway line. Danilo will go and try and win it. It's beaten in there though by Doué. Tavernier first to it, then Curtis picks up and just rolls it back to Suter. 4 minutes added on. Suter finds Curtis with the aid of a deflection. Curtis tries to slip it through for Danilo, edge of the box. Danilo looks for Diamonde, doesn't come to him. Comes then to Curtis, tries the volley, doesn't get a hold of it, breaks to Raskan at the edge of the box. He just dummies away from Adu and then rolls it back into the path of Giga. Right hand side is Tavernier, back to Giga once more. Infield it goes to Suter, but Giga was taken out of play there by the substitute Doski, and it will be a free kick to Rangers, 10 yards or so inside their own half. And Giga not happy with the way he was caught there on the left Achilles. He points out to the referee, and he's waved to his feet by the French official. So Rangers will have this free kick rolled into Raskin. Lovely little drop of the shoulder to take him away from Valenta. Just nudges it back to Barron. Barron goes back the way again to Suter. Suter midway inside his own half, plays it into Diamondi, who will go all the way back to Jack Butland. Butland at the edge of his area. We've played one of the 4 minutes added on already. Rangers leading by 3-0 as Curtis tries to spin away there from Doski. Gets the free kick. I'm not sure there was all that much in that, but again the referee points for the free kick to Rangers, and they'll take that all day long at this stage. The 3-goal advantage as Tavernier plays it back to Giga just inside his own half. All told then, Neil McCann, you'll have a further chance to summarise McKennie post-match, but
good night.
Yeah,
it's been a good night. I think there's been a lot of things really pleasing for Russell Martin and how Rangers have played. 3 good goals, clean sheet as we stand right now, so I think the reaction that he's looking for he's certainly got. I think Pilsen have been disappointing as much as Rangers have been very good, but this is probably the best performance that Rangers have shown under the new manager.
Yep, they have given away another free kick though, midway inside their own half, to be taken by Slonchik, who just roll it down the right channel. Surely Markovic is offside, yes indeed, and Rangers holding a good line there, and pretty naive stuff from Slonchik to actually take that free kick the way of Markovic, who was clearly in an offside position, but Rangers will accept that gladly. Free kick their way just inside their own penalty area. Minute and a half of injury time to play. Rangers 3, Viktoria Plzeň 0. You happy with the way things have gone, Derek?
Absolutely. I was a little bit nervous before the game, intrigued to see how it was all going to pan out, but the reaction that Russell Martin wanted, he certainly got it. He was brave in his changes. Real pluses. Ant-Man has been superb tonight. You know that the Rangers fans are really going to enjoy watching the lad, and also I've got to have a special mention for Lyle Kammer. You know, he's came here tonight. It's a big occasion, and he's handled it brilliantly. I think when you said it earlier, it looks as if he's enjoying himself. It's brilliant. You know, he's embraced it. You know, he's not shirked away from it, and he's shown what he's all about. So real good performances.
Danilo chasing it down right hand side. He's lost out though, and it comes to Wyszynski. Now it's Cherv, but again in steps Giga, who is impressing more and more at the back alongside John Suter on the loan from Wolves. Here he is in possession once more, gets it back from Raskin. 20 seconds of the 4 minutes that were added on. Rangers leading by 3-0. Is there a chance here as Finlay Curtis tries to get onto the end of James Tavernier's ball forward? It comes off his back, unfortunately for him, and knocked forward up towards the halfway line. Raskin's won it though in the middle of the park. Then Slonchik steps in, and Pilsen will try and build down the left hand side. Wyszynski goes down. Was he caught there by Curtis? Yes, he was, says the referee. And perhaps one final chance then as we go beyond the 4 minutes for Pilsen to throw the ball into the Rangers box to try and make some sort of impact on the scoreline. 3-0 they trail. It's going to be a long way back, second leg, not impossible, but Rangers have put themselves in a good position. Can they hold on to it? Not towards the edge of the penalty area. It's won by Douay. The free kick is given Rangers way, and surely now that 3-0 advantage that Rangers have built up will be confirmed. The free kick has gone Rangers' way, but you would imagine as soon as Jack Butland sends this upfield, in fact there's not even time for that to be taken. A very satisfactory evening at Ibrox for Rangers as they take a 3-goal advantage across to the Czech Republic as they look to play their way into the Champions League playoff round. Much more convincing performance from Russell Martin's side after that tongue lashing he gave them post Motherwell. But Jedi Gassama yet again endearing himself to the Rangers fans with 2 goals, 1 in each half, first after a quarter of an hour after he was played in by Cyril Dessers to slot past the keeper to make it 1-0. And then just before half time, Dessers himself made it 2 from the penalty spot after a 1-2 between Antman and Gassama, and the debutant was fouled by Mate Vidra inside the area, and Dessers converted the spot kick to make it 2-0 at the interval. Diamonde hit the bar 4 minutes into the second period, but it wasn't long before Rangers did make it 3, as Aarons picked out a lovely ball down the right for that man Antman, and he picked out Gassama at the back post to head into the net and make it 3-0 to Rangers. They had other opportunities. Viktoria Plzeň had efforts of their own, but in truth Jack Butland wasn't a busy keeper this evening as he was against Panathinaikos, and so they will take a good lead into the second leg out in the Czech Republic next week. Join us for that live here on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. But for now, the full-time score at Ibrox: Rangers 3, Viktoria Plzeň 0.
Rangers in the UEFA Champions League qualifiers.
Live on Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.